Hey, what's good, what's good, what's good? Welcome to Reflections of a DJ, the R.O.A.D podcast presented by DJ City and Beat Source. I'm one of your hosts, DJ Crooked. We got DJ Never here.
Yo, what up?
We got DJ D Miles.
What's good, what's good?
We got Jamie the Great.
Yeah.
We got our associate producer over here on the sidelines, associating, producing. We got Nudia.
Yes.
And then we got a special guest. I've known this dude like over a decade in the Las Vegas nightlife scene. He's probably one of my favorite EDM house DJs.
Yeah.
And I think he's one of the best EDM house DJs in the city.
Easily.
And he's a really fucking good open format DJ when he wants to be.
Yes.
Damn it.
I don't know if I'm fucking up his branding.
Nah.
But he could throw down a good hip hop set when he wants to.
By default.
Yeah, by default. When he's forced to. Yo, we got the very talented and one of the greatest guys I know, DJ Jason Lema.
Yes,
what up, fam?
yes,
What's
Thank you
good?
so much, man. Thank you, man.
It's been a minute, man. I haven't seen.
It's been a long time.
When was the last time I saw you?
Honestly, I would say at least 8 years.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't seen you in 8 years.
Maybe.
That's crazy.
It can't be that long, man.
It's possible.
Maybe because every
Not
time
8
you're
years,
working, I'm working.
Yeah.
And so this is the history with Jason Lema and actually D Miles.
Yeah.
We all worked at Tao Group together
Same time, yeah.
in the late 2000s.
Yeah.
Right? For like years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For years to come. We did Tao, we did Lavo, and I think we all started from the bottom there.
Yes. And
Right?
that's how I actually met Lema, was because when I started, obviously like everyone else, like we started in the lounge.
Right.
And it would be Jason Lema, and I think he would do like the 5 to 10.
Yeah.
And then I would come in and do like the 10 to close. And back then the close was like whenever the main room would finish. Which
Right.
sometimes it would be 4:30, sometimes it would be 5 in the morning.
Well, let's talk about like the way everything was structured, right?
Yeah.
So when I came into Tao Group, I was actually I was previously I had a 1 year non-compete contract
Yeah.
in Vegas. So when I was at Light Group and I was DJing at Jet and Light in like the 2006-07, I couldn't work in Vegas for a year.
Yeah.
And so when I came back, I was at Wet Republic. And before my 1 year hiatus, I was actually preempted. I was gonna sign with Tao Group to do the main room.
Yeah.
But when I after the 1 year was up, it was like my stock went down a little bit. So they were like,
Started from the bottom.
yeah. So they were like, we ain't got the main room for you,
Yeah.
but you could DJ the restaurant.
Yeah.
So the way Tao works in Las Vegas is that if you're an entry-level DJ, you DJ the restaurant, which is the restaurant hours.
Yeah.
And then if you graduate that, you go to Opium Room, which was like the side room of Tao.
Yeah.
And then if you graduated that, you made it to the main room.
Yeah.
And then a few years later, they opened Lavo, which is
Right.
in the Palazzo. And I think they put like a hand select of DJs in there as well.
Right.
Yes.
So when I started in there, they were like, you can do the restaurant. So I started the restaurant, and then I moved to Opium Room. But as we were bouncing around from restaurant to Opium Room to main room, we were all working together pretty much.
Yeah.
And we were all doing restaurant, Opium Room, sometimes main room. We were just, and we'd see each other like 3 times a week, if anything, right?
For sure.
Yeah. And that's how we knew it, because
Yeah.
Lema, I always knew you as an amazing house DJ,
Yeah.
right?
It's my passion, man.
Yeah. But you would have to do open format. You'd have to open for Vice. You'd have to open for whoever was in the main room, right?
Yeah. I mean, I fell into that. I didn't want to.
You didn't want to.
No.
Yeah.
I was asked to, and then they were like, you need to, because someone didn't show up in the Opium Room once. And I went up there. I was like, I don't even know what's being played right now. I have no idea. I play like down tempo and I play house.
Yeah.
So yeah, I fell by default, and then they were like, yeah, you're not going back to just playing the restaurant hours, which was like Buddha bar style, which is I was okay with.
And he was amazing at it too.
So
like,
what were you initially brought into Tao Group for?
So there was I did a little side party on Wednesdays at Firefly. It was all deep house.
And what year is this? Give me a year.
2004.
2004.
So
Okay.
and then I did another lounge in Paris called Risque.
Yep.
I used to play there, and
that was a pretty pretty
That
big
was,
club, right?
Wait, was it Risque Chateau?
Yeah, that was the original.
Yeah, it was a pretty big club.
Yeah.
That's a good like
Chateau.
1,200 capacity room.
I mean, I did this. Actually, I did the side room. It was like the main room was like a Cyber Kid, and then I did a small lounge, deep house, and
So house was in the side rooms, right?
always
At this
in the
time,
side, yeah,
it was always. In
It was
the side
already
room.
phasing out. It was on its way out. Like main room was always open format.
So by the mid 2000s in Vegas,
Yeah, it was.
the house room was going to the side room,
Yeah,
right?
it was nothing going on.
How long? So let's talk about your history. How long you been in Vegas?
I've been in Vegas since 2001.
2001.
Yeah.
And where you from?
I'm from Miami.
Miami.
Yeah, I left Miami.
Born and raised.
I was born and raised in Miami.
Yeah, I read in like an interview that your mom's kind of was like, she got you to fall in love with music, pretty much, right?
Yeah, my mom was like she was the one that was playing vinyl in my house. My dad's always been like a intellect, like he likes reading books. He likes, my mom likes playing music, so she would always play records for her friends and break new like salsa and stuff like, or be like the one that had the gold pieces of vinyl.
Yeah.
What's your background?
Colombian.
Colombian.
Yeah, both my parents. Yeah,
I was wondering that.
Yeah.
Yeah, my parents are both from Medellin, Colombia.
Oh wow.
Nice. That accent came out.
Yeah. So that was like, watching her flex her favorite records to her friends was like, wow, she would only play gold pieces of music. Like, this is the best. So, that was my cheap thrill watching that, because my dad would go to work and she would play music. But yeah, that was my one thing. I would like record tapes at the house. I didn't buy records. I recorded the tape. Like, I would wait for the song to come out. Boom.
Yeah.
But
And then did you start DJing in Miami?
I started like doing it as a hobby in Miami, and then I moved here and just kind of like weasel my way into a couple gigs for free and doing like that.
What made you come to Vegas? It's crazy. I've known you this long, and I'm just getting to know this.
To be honest with you,
It's like catching up.
a long story short, late 90s, I was partying my ass off in Miami. Just, and I had to check out. So I had a 2-day binger of partying, and I had a clear thought, I'm gonna get out of here or I'm gonna die.
So you came to Vegas?
Yeah, so the Vegas was the next best thing.
Of all places.
No,
He's like, fuck it.
so I moved to Yosemite.
Yosemite.
Oh, shit.
I packed all my stuff. I got online. I got a job online to live in Yosemite National Park. Man.
like a park ranger?
Anything. Get the fuck out of the city.
But what were you doing in Yosemite?
I went there I applied to work on this river, just to put canoes in the river and just work there. And I'm gonna get away from like the party scene.
Oh, he was detoxing for real.
I was thawing myself out.
Wait, what happened in Miami that made you want to
Bro. It was
To tell us.
Yo,
like-
some bad happened.
nothing
huh?
bad happened. I just
did.
Okay, listen. I was up for 2 days and I was candy flipping, and I had a clear thought. Like,
What's candy flipping?
it's a mixture of acid and ecstasy.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that in years.
So
Man.
I was
Never, you know what this is?
Yeah.
Have you done this never?
I've never done it.
You lying motherfucker.
That shit is
man.
crazy, bro.
Candy flipping.
yeah.
So what does that do?
So what I was doing like ecstasy for a day, for like over 24 hours, and then I took some acid. So then it was like
Wait, how old are you at this?
I was like 23.
Damn.
And I just said,
Wait, it was the acid that made you think
I don't
differently,
know.
right?
Yeah,
Because I feel like that will open up, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
It was
That's what
like,
people say.
It was like the feeling of like,
So
when-
I've heard.
You know when you wake up and you're like, oh, I'm breaking up with her. Like that, they were like, I'm happy. Like that's the move.
Because it's more like a psychedelic high.
You know what I mean? Like, you know when that day when you make the
That's
you know
deep
the-
what he said though.
when you make that decision, when you wake up, like that's it. I'm breaking up with her, and I can't wait.
All the fellas can relate. We're like, oh, yeah.
That was the way I felt. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm getting the fuck out of here. I'm gonna either go to jail or get the fuck out. So I'm gonna go out. So
How was the club scene back then in Miami?
in
Like,
Miami,
like,
it was nuts.
you
yeah.
were just going out. And
yeah, it was like
great.
it was house. It was it was partying. It was
What clubs is popping? Like Space?
Space hasn't opened up yet. This was like this was in '99. So I was going to some of the parties that were pre-Space, and this place called Groove Jet and another place.
Oh, yeah,
called-
Groove Jet. That's
Yeah.
Andrew Sassoon old spot.
Yeah, yeah.
He was the doorman there.
Yeah.
Always Andrew Sasson.
Yeah, bro. So
Do you remember him at the door?
Yeah,
You do?
yeah. I remember one day I was
Oh,
wearing.
you on the list?
I was wearing one day I walked up. He was wearing the same shirt. I was wearing the same shirt, and he's like, you're not getting in. I was like,
Did you shop at the same places and shit?
yeah. Well, that one particular day, we were wearing like the same outfit.
You're not getting in.
Yeah, man.
Change your shit, and maybe I'll think about getting you in.
And I was already like, I was already dosed up. Like, I got to go somewhere, man. Like I was flying, dude. So, anyways,
You know, Liam and Johanna from back. They used to work at Drew Jet.
I don't remember.
Okay,
No.
He's lying.
3 things to remember?
You remember Andrew?
Candy flipping all the time.
I mean, no, I really wasn't Kenny flipping all the time. But anyways, I moved out of there. I got out of there. I lived in Yosemite for a year. I just needed to check out of the cities. And then I went to LA for a year, did that for 1 year. And I came here on vacation. I'm like, this is like a young Miami. New.
Yeah.
It hadn't been taken over yet. And I felt like this is an opportunity. Because LA felt like it was, like everybody had their roots in there. And it didn't feel enough for me. I wasn't an actor or anything like that. But
Right.
came here and I just winged it, man. Worked at Mandalay Bay, worked bartending, waiting tables. Rum Jungle, I worked at Rum Jungle. I was a bartender, I was a server.
Wow. And you were just alone.
I came with a roommate that I lived in LA. But we moved out here together, yeah, just him and I.
And was the plan that you were like, I want to DJ?
No, it was just fun. It was a fun city to be like, I was DJing, but it was never like, this is my career. It was just like, this is what I do for fun. I love it, but I got to make money. I got to figure out life.
So you're like bartending in Rum Jungle. Are you listening to the DJ?
Right, Michael Toast, old guy, like the old school.
Wow.
Michael
I know
Toast, oh yeah.
Yeah, Michael Toast, those guys. Like, remember what's his name, Randy RTM or something like that. Then we had Hollywood, we had R.O.A.D.
Hollywood, yeah.
So I started working
R.O.A.D.
R.O.A.D.
Right, yeah.
So I got hired at Ghost Bar to work there just to do like the odd shifts, and I was just in there playing house, and they're like, you got to slow down with the house. We need to hear like 50 Cent in the club, and I'm like, what? So I would go to what was the record? What was off Maryland?
Yeah.
Oh,
Hip hop site.
hip hop.
Hip hop site. I was going. I'm like, I need the hottest hip hop records, man. It's like 50 Cent in the club, you know.
Who was working there? Five.
Five was working there.
So you were going to Five.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't even
And
know
his
this.
stone lazy ass was like getting you all the hip hop.
They were handpicking.
He was like,
this-
the 40, 50 Cent is over there.
Yeah, exactly. So I winged it for a while there, and then I got let go. I got let go from Ghost Bar. Like, you play way too much house. You got to go. And I was heartbroken. I've never been fired by any job in my life. That was the first job I've ever been fired for.
And if you had Twitter, you would have went off on them. If you had Twitter, you would have shit all over Ghost Bar, right?
Nah.
That's the weird shit though, right? If we all had
No,
Twitter and all of
things
these,
would have been different.
all of these things
That's
that
your
happened
journal
to
right
us,
there. Yeah.
we would have been on Twitter shitting
could
on
be.
it.
I know, right?
Could be.
But Ghost Bar
Racism,
was
they
Ghost
hate-
Bar was crazy then, right? Because that was like when the real world days. and all that shit,
2002, 2003, I was at Ghost Bar. I left there.
Ghost Bar was in the Palms. The
Yeah.
Palms
It
was
was
basically
cracking. I was the first time I saw AM. I had never heard of him. I was like, who is this guy? He was a mate. You know, I'd seen Vice.
this was Fat AM, like chubby
yeah,
AM.
he was thick.
Yeah.
He was thick. He was thick, man. I mean, it was.
It was thick. I love
Remember
that.
back on they did a Tuesday party there at the Palm.
Right.
It was by the pool. Anyways, I saw a bunch of guys come out, never heard of them, and R.O.B. Hollywood. They were always killing it on the, their weekend parties. And I left there. Like I said, I was doing this lounge. Ironically, some guy came in, was talking to me, and he's like, "Hey, let me buy you a drink." I'm like, "I don't drink. I had already quit drinking," and it ended up being Omar.
Omar Galliano.
Galliano.
OG.
Omar Galliano.
That same night at Risque, like tonight's your last night, man. I'm like, why? We have another DJ coming in. I was like, Jesus. So I call Omar. He's like, come in for an audition, and then
So Omar Galliano, it was the music director at Tao Group.
he was,
Right. And now he's with Mac Agency.
and now he's over there on the record.
So Omar was there. Was he like recruiting you?
he at the time, it felt like some weird guy trying to buy me a drink, and I'm like, I don't drink, man.
But you thought he was
You
trying
felt like he was hitting on you?
I
He was
felt a
trying
little
to hit
bit, a little bit.
Hey, come over here. Let me buy a drink.
He just, I'm like, I don't drink. He's like, "Can I buy-" and I was like, no. But he gave me his card, and on the way out, I'm like, you know what? Let me call this guy up. And I said,
He was like that.
Did the card say Tao Las Vegas already?
yeah.
The Tao hadn't opened yet, right?
It hadn't, but there had been an advertisement for it to open up for years there.
Right.
I knew it was going to be something. It had been like, 9/11 had just happened.
So this is like 2005, early 2005.
Yeah. So I started there in the lounge, just playing like acid jazz, down tempo with some lighthouse, and then I was done at 10 p.m.
So the lounge was a restaurant, though, right?
It was the restaurant, and people would stop there to get a drink before they get sat. But at the time, Tao was like the hottest.
Yeah.
Like
So
every
that lounge
celebrity
was-
wanted to be there. It was-
Right.
And I did that for years. For years, just I was content. 5 to 10, I got home, I was good.
How many days did you spend?
I did it about 2 nights a week, Friday and
nights a
Saturday.
week.
And then I was bartending and waiting tables at Rum Juggle,
This whole time you were sober.
sober.
Damn.
I thought out, man. No more. Nothing.
Yosemite cleaned them up, bro.
I mean, it did. It did. I mean,
that makes sense why you were cool with the lounge, because the energy was just chill.
Yeah,
You could just go in there, do your thing musically. You weren't like watching people pop bottles and
no.
thinking about drinking.
I wasn't interested
Yeah.
at all. And there was really not that much of an electronic scene here either. So that's why I started doing my side party at Firefly.
And Firefly was like a go-to spot too. It was
Yeah,
like they had all these tapas, and all the industry people went there.
Yeah.
So it was like a very industry, local driven spot, and it was pretty big.
Yeah, it was funky.
Yeah.
It felt like a good vibe, and that's when I started like just really pursuing that. And yeah,
And then so when I was at Light Group, I moved from New York to Vegas in the end of 2005, and I was with Light Group from 2006, 2007, and in 2008, probably near the end of 2008, I joined Tao Group. So in that time, in the 3 years, you went from the lounge, and did they start moving you to?
they started moving me into the Opium Room, and then maybe some opening sets, which I didn't always feel comfortable with. I'm like, I'm the wrong person. Because Darren was so talented. He was already.
January, you were opening at that time, or what?
Yeah. I just started because I was doing
What year did you start?
08.
Oh wait,
Yeah,
same
summer
as
of
me.
08. And so like me and Lema became friends because we would always cross paths in the lounge. I would finish off the night when he would be done at 10 o'clock. And then they slowly moved
And then
me
you
up.
do the club night, the club hours.
Yeah.
So he'd do the dinner hours, and then you'd come, and then you'd do the club
10:30
hours.
to close, which would be crazy at that time.
Yeah.
10 to 4 a.m.
That lounge felt like a club.
Yeah.
It was insane.
So at Tao, at this point, was literally, I mean, this club in the beginning was so hot, it had 3 rooms.
Yeah.
It had the lounge restaurant, which was kind of the first floor. And then there was the opium room, which was the second floor on the side.
Yeah.
And then there was the main room on the second floor.
And then they started opening up Tower Beach at night. That's how crazy it was too.
Oh, so they have 4
rooms.
Yeah. 4.
And they all 4 were insanely packed.
Yeah. I mean, the lounges,
God
like
damn.
if you couldn't get in, that's where you would stay.
The lounge.
Yeah, if you couldn't get in, like if you were,
Oh, right.
you couldn't get in
because you needed a stamp to go upstairs.
It was like the Kardashians are upstairs and it's so
Right.
busy. Like we're okay at the lounge. It's cracking. It's
Cracking.
free. It's free. The
Got the
bar's
bar,
right there.
yeah.
You know, you didn't get the full on nightclub experience, but you didn't care. You were there. There was.
If you never seen it, like it was good enough.
it was beautiful. There was a Buddha. I mean,
Yeah.
There was some Buddha.
I don't know.
It was. I remember like
There was girls in those tubs.
I was
There
so
was the girls in the towers.
I was so competitive when because when you're in the lounge in the restaurant, you're DJing there, you would see people leaving.
Yeah.
So my thing was like, oh, I'm
Keep
gonna
'em.
get I'm
Gotta
gonna
keep 'em.
I'm gonna get the guys and all the girls when they walk through my room before they leave
Yeah.
to like second think and be like, oh, let's get a drink. It's popping down here.
Yeah.
Like you own the place. Like,
Right.
I'm gonna get some more money. Like you got
Yeah, yeah.
like 10% of the bar. Like I'm gonna.
And then I was
Yeah.
just hoping and dreaming the manager would be like, man, you did. Every time you hear the numbers are crazy.
Such a good job. You're gonna move you to the main room.
Yeah, that's,
With the Kardashians up there.
and it was rough because I used to be the main room guy at Jet and Light, and then I had that, and I couldn't work in Vegas for a year. When I came back, I'd see like Vice and Five. They would like walk through and be like, they'd see me and they were like, oh man, like,
Sorry, Trump.
what's up, man?
Damn, this nigga fell off.
And they'd be like, you good?
Fell off.
They'd be good. I'm like, yeah. I couldn't be like, yeah, I'm great. You know, I'm doing the lounge, the restaurant. You know what I mean? You know. I just be like, yeah, what's up, man? Just keep moving. I don't even want to talk to you.
Good though, man. It's good for your ego.
It
It's-
is.
Humble.
It really did humble me.
You have to. You have
Yeah.
to. Like now, I love the small room.
Me too.
I don't want the main room.
I don't want the big, but you're in the big rooms now.
I do the main room at Marquee, and I do this Wednesday.
Fam, you're a big.
And you join the
you're a
pool
big
also,
DJ.
right?
Yeah, I do the pool, but like I love the small room.
I love how he's downplaying himself.
No, you know why? You still got those like the working DJ.
I love the. you have to, well, listen, when you do a small room, it's a lot more pressure. The room could clear out. Like
Right.
10 girls could leave and you're like, oh, and it started like a fire. You have to sustain that energy or whatever it is. You have
Right.
to keep it intimate and you have to look people in the eyes. And I love that, man. That's like what I was afraid as an early DJ. I like that frightening now. Like, give it to me, man. I want to stare at you in the face. I want to tell you, yeah, man, I'm not scared. Let's go. I want to play you some deep, funky, groovy. That's my thrill, man. The main room is easy, man. It's like, let me just, but you know, through grenades at your face and look at the, you know, the girls dancing above me and the LED. Like, there's so many distractions. It's not really about me. And the small room's still not about me, but I'm cooking that small room.
Okay, I wanna like, you're in the big rooms now. You're doing marquee main room, right? You're doing marquee date pool. You're doing Tao, right? You don't do Tao,
No,
right?
I don't.
Still does Lavo brunch.
You do Lavo
I do
brunch.
Lavo brunch, yeah.
Lavo brunch is insane, right?
Yeah.
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 It gets crazy.
So like where you are right now, if you look back into your career, you're in a prime position right now. You're where you would want to be right now.
It's more than I ever thought it would be.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then in the beginning, right, you didn't really start getting the main room shots for you to just DJ house until late in the 2000s when the EDM started popping off a little bit more.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because from 2005 to what would you say, 2009?
Yeah. 9.
It was like open format.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden there was like,
It was a boom.
and then all of a sudden it was like Cascade. It was like,
Calvin Harris.
Calvin Harris.
Tiesto.
Yeah.
I think
Steve
a
Aoki.
lot of a lot of pop records came out too that were like up tempo.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of Pitbull came out. Flow Rider was on a lot of records, and it was like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
everything became like, oh, okay. Now,
Yeah.
tempo music is like Crookers are coming out with like
Yeah.
records, and
all
everybody.
that electro scene started coming out.
Afrojack, all that shit.
And that was cool too because I knew that was the energy that I liked, but I also felt like, oh man, people don't appreciate the deeper side of it. Like I felt like this is great, but it's not how I imagined it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's why you're a house DJ.
I love house, man.
Yeah.
I love house because it reminds me of like Earth, Wind, and Fire, like that tempo, like that tempo, and even like salsa and like that up tempo, slower music doesn't feel always like party to me. It feels like slower energy, and I like that tempo. But I don't like the EDM tempo so much. I like the groovier
Yeah.
house, man. When it hits that pocket, we're like, man, this beat is perfect.
That Miami house, right?
That Miami house, like even like New York, just deep, just chunky. Like the beats are intelligent. That just turns me on, man. It makes me feel good.
Damn. Okay.
But do you
Yeah,
think,
hear
do you think
he's talking like it's a girl.
He's telling it to me. I
do you
don't
think
know, man.
that do you think that when EDM emerged in like the 09s, 10s, 11s that it helped you or afforded you to get into those big rooms and so it benefited you in a way as well?
It definitely did because I feel like everybody was probably playing a lot. They didn't really understand it. I already understood that tempo. It was hard for me to like merge into like a harder version of it, which is never like my heart, man. But I could do it. Like open format, I could do open format. But
Yeah.
the harder house, I never felt like it had enough soul for it. But I could do it.
You were a good open format DJ. Though.
I don't know. I just don't. I just want to groove. I feel like I'm fighting for my life when it comes to open format.
It's like torture.
Yeah.
A little
No,
bit.
it's not.
Nah, a little bit.
Listen, one thing I've learned, especially during the lockdown, is that it's not about me, man. It's about like really, people come to these venues for a lot of reasons, and it's
Right.
not to see me. It's to get relief, man. To either meet a person, meet a girl, meet a guy, have fun with their friends, like get a little weekend off from working, a lot. It's not about like what they think of me. It's what I'm giving them. I want to give. I want people to feel good. I want people to walk out feeling better than when they walked in.
Wait, so how was this perspective changed before the pandemic, after pandemic?
Because I don't know,
What happened in the pandemic? How did the pandemic treat you? Like, how did, you know what I'm saying? You look like
I'll be
you
honest.
lost 50 pounds, like 30 pounds. You look skinny as fuck.
I work my ass off to stay like feeling healthy. Healthy is like my most important thing. And that means like mental health too. Like I work on my mental health.
You said like you're not on Instagram or you're as much as like you're not.
I just don't feel like it gives me anything. And I don't have anything to give. Like I'll tell my story if I have something to say, but if I don't, I check out. So when I notice that when I post something, I get a lot more traction when I don't. if I'm constantly putting, people get like, I just feel like they're not watching it. But I don't have something to say every day. I don't. I like hanging out with my kid. I like hanging out by myself. I like hanging out with my wife.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have time to like tell you what I'm doing play by play of my life. Like I'm living it.
I'm kind of in the same like area that you are with social media right now. I
think it's the older we get, we starting to feel that way, because I feel this absolute same way you do.
Yeah.
Just
I find entertain. Who am I entertaining?
Right.
I'm not here to tap dance for you all day. I can't.
It's exhausting to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it really seems like younger people are doing it relentlessly.
Oh, yeah.
And that even tires me even more. Right? Especially when like a DJ is like nonstop posting or like I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm like, you're doing a lot, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like I'm like, that's great. And and then I'm thinking like, I gotta do that shit.
I'm thinking the same thing, like, damn, if I'm doing it wrong, should I be doing this shit as well? But then it's like, I don't want to go through all that shit all day, posting nonstop.
Yeah.
But
I got other shit to do. But I admire that shit.
Yeah.
But it does exhaust me because I'm like, oh man, I can't even keep up with that. So I just have to like go on whatever rhythm I'm on right now.
You got to be you. Like I think we're all gonna look back 10 years from now and be like, man, I wasted a lot of time on this.
A little, maybe.
Yeah.
Like, are we living right now, or are we really like? Is it making your career that much better to give that much of your time on like your socials? Is it? And is it worth it? For what? For money? You're gonna spend it.
Are you asking me or
no? I'm asking in general. Like, what's the fulfillment of like posting that much? What is it gonna do for you? Is it gonna excel your career really, or is it like other work that's gonna do it? Because and if it is excelling your career, what's it giving you? Like more money? What are you gonna do with that money? You gonna spend it? Like your time is the biggest asset in your life.
Yeah, it's your biggest inventory.
Right.
Just the biggest, man. Like anything else, like you could have all the money, you can spend it. You can't. Your time is being spent like right now. So I don't know. Like when you asked me a little bit about the pandemic, what it taught me like.
Was it rough for you?
No, it was rough because I had to check my ego.
In what way?
In which way? Because I was still working. And
what do you mean you're still DJing?
Yeah, I still DJed. I DJed through the whole pandemic.
Where'd you DJ?
I did Marquee Saturday all day and all night. Like I was the headliner at Marquee Day Club from open to close, and I was the headliner at Marquee Nightclub open to close.
Oh wait, you're talking about when things opened up in like July or something?
We were closed for 3 months.
Yeah,
I spent a lot of time at home.
What were you doing in 3 months?
Cooking, eating, working out.
I kind of loved the first 3 months of the pandemic.
I did not like that.
You didn't like
that
it?
was the worst fucking time.
I enjoyed it.
I fucking loved it.
Work-wise,
Did you love it?
podcast-wise, it was the worst.
It was like a vacation.
Yeah.
I never woke up.
I needed it so bad.
Yeah, because every morning I wake up, I'm like, what do I have to do? What do I have to do? I forgot something. And then like for 3 months, I was like, what am I going to cook today?
Can't go nowhere.
Okay, so have you ever lived through like a hurricane or been through like some out of control, like
some Miami shit. Now.
Like some Miami, like in Miami
when there's a hurricane in Miami,
LA,
you're
bro.
shut down.
Okay, when I lived through like a hurricane in Miami,
Yeah.
and it was similar to it, like 3 days of like, fuck, we have no power.
Was it Hurricane Andrew?
Yeah, I lived through Andrew.
Okay.
And it felt like, fuck, what are we gonna do? Drink, eat.
Right.
And that's how I felt like the pandemic felt. Like everything's fucked. We're all fucked. Everything is shut down. We can't do anything. We're scared. I was like, I don't even want to touch like a piece of mail. I'm afraid something's gonna stick. But then what did we do? I ate CBD gummies. Chilled at home. I cooked.
For mental health.
I cooked.
I like.
Are you vegan?
No.
Okay.
No.
When you
He's
look
Colombian, bro.
not
He's
not
not
even
vegan.
gassing, bro. You look amazing.
Thank you, man.
Like you
Thank
look
you.
like
He lost so much weight, right?
yeah.
You're like actor skinny. You know what I mean? Like
model
Hollywood
Face, bro,
skinny.
your face is chiseled. Like, you look really
I mean,
good.
I eat less. I eat less.
Okay, so
Like,
smaller
What's the secret?
portions.
What's the secret?
honestly, I eat 8 hours. I mean, everybody does intermittent fasting. I regulate how often I eat a day. 8 hours a day I eat. I try not to eat a lot of carbs. I'm not gonna say I don't eat carbs, but I try not to because when I do, I crash. Maybe it's my age, but when I eat like a bowl of pasta, I'm fucked. I'm like foggy headed. I can't think. I'm miserable, but I love it. So I try to control that much of it. But
With the intermediate fasting, the 8 on, 16 off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is this what you learned through the pandemic? You just started implementing all this?
no, I was doing it before, and then during the pandemic, I really said, "Fuck, man." The one thing that's gonna get me through, because I have a 5-year-old, and he requires a lot of
energy.
Yeah, energy. So the only thing I could do is do cardio at home. I could do videos and then play with him and sleep midday sleep. Naps, and it was it was nice. But when with 3 months of doing nothing, then we reopened. And I was like, fuck, now I'm doing a lot. It was all day
So when the clubs opened, they didn't know what was going on either, right? So they started calling their go-to DJs and the guys that they wanted to hire.
Sure.
But they're kind of like, look,
yeah,
this is the thing. This is our budget now.
Yeah.
And this is the hours you have to do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then, so you were doing 6-hour shifts or longer. How long were your shifts?
Yeah, it was like 7-hour shifts, and everybody that came out was like they wanted to hear 90% hip hop. So my ego was crushed because I was like, I didn't even know who Pop Smoke was, man. Like before that, never heard of him. I never heard of a lot of music, and I had to restructure the way I think. Like, it's not about me, man. There's a lot of people come out here. They're spending money.
But give me your initial reaction.
I was
you were pissed or you were annoyed? Like, were you kind of like, do I really need to go back to work this much? Do I need to do this? Or were you?
I had to because I'm the only one that works in my house, man. So I was like, this is what I got to do for my family. I got to figure things out. I got to tap back into my Tao days and what's good and what do you love. And then I started listening to music and like, that's popular, but I don't love it, so I'm not going to play it. And then I came out.
So you're still curating your own taste.
I'm curating my own taste, but then I realized that.
But then the manager comes up and tells you to play that exact song that you hate.
Well,
because we are a Tao group. Let's.
So this is what I started doing. I started realizing I'm gonna save the last half an hour.
Yeah.
For like the raunchiest music that's hot right now. Everything that I hate, I'm gonna play it, and then we're gonna stay open later. And if we stay open later, I'm gonna get paid a little bit more. So that's what I started doing.
That's a good tactic, man.
I'm going to save what they want so bad and then give it to them at the end. At the end, everyone's going to pop bottles and we're going to have to stay open later. And I knew if we stayed open a little later, I could charge a little bit more. So that was my tactic, man. Just keep them like...
That's not how Vegas clubs work, though. Like Vegas clubs, like I remember DJing till 6 a.m. at Vegas clubs. They wouldn't give me extra if we stayed open.
Well, you got to remember, like it really got scaled back to... really low. Like what I was making was very low.
Rates went.
The rates went down, but I will say that I've never. And again, it was by default. Like the kids that were coming out, they really they believed that I loved what I was doing because I was telling I microdose a lot of mushrooms. Honestly, I do. And
do you drink? Do you drink?
No drinking. No.
Were you drinking when we were DJing together?
Never.
You never did.
Never. Yeah, not that I remember either.
Nope.
Never.
I quit for 10 years. I fell off the wagon in 2012 for 1 year. I went hard for a year and then I quit again.
Damn.
So it's been almost.
What was the trigger?
Jack and Coke.
How do you not drink for 10 years and then have a drink for a whole year?
I mean, honestly,
what happened?
It was a bad thing and a good thing. The good thing is that my career was where I wanted to be. It was 2 years of playing at a mega nightclub with all electronic music and being exposed to some of the top tier talent that I never thought I would play with.
Yeah, you were opening for like Eric Murillo, Cascade.
Rest in peace, Murillo, by the way.
Yeah.
Armin van Buren.
Armin, all these guys. And guys I never really cared about but respected and learned a lot.
Right.
But then my dad got sick. So it was like, this is something amazing and this is something really sad. And then I was like, how do I handle that? And then I just had kind of like a breaking point. Like I didn't care. I got an award. I got an award for best DJ in Vegas at the time.
2012, right?
Yeah, 2012. And I got it, and I wasn't even happy about it. I was like, my dad's dying. He didn't die. He made it through. He's good. But at the time, I was like, who cares, man? Fucking get this fucking out of this.
And then you just started drinking.
I just took one shot, and I had never DJed on. I had never did professionally DJ with any drinks on it. Man, I was like, oh, this is kind of nice.
Yeah,
it is an edge off.
Good feeling, right?
Just calm the nerves, right?
But I had already like accepted being sober. Like to me, it's like I'm playing with kids that are drunk. I'm not the one that's drunk. But then I was like, okay, this is cool. And then I started traveling a little bit, which I never had, like Marquis, Sydney. I'm like, but then I just started blacking out. Like everyone, how do you control that? Once you open that door. Yeah. It's bad, man. So I woke up in Sydney after playing Marquis Sydney, and I don't remember anything, man. and my room was full of beer bottles.
Oh shit!
And I had blood in my hand.
What?
I was like, who was here? What happened? Oh shit! And then I came back. I'm like, that's it, man. I'm done.
Oh shit!
I'm done again.
So you had a hell of a year. Like,
it was 1 year. Went hard.
I mean, blood in your hand, blood, and when you wake up and there's blood,
that's a wake up call.
Yeah, like what the fuck is this?
you got to start evaluating what the fuck you're doing when you're waking up and there's blood and shit. Yeah.
I mean,
bottles all over the room.
I mean, I don't mean to get all serious about it, but
I ain't gonna lie. Like, we had some nights at Marquee when they first opened.
Yeah.
Like, I'm talking like.
Even we had fun ass times at
Marquee
Town,
was
yo.
fun, yeah.
Yo, Marquee was.
It really was
insane, bro.
2012 was insane. We had some good nights in there.
I mean, the boombox was like,
Yeah, that's the
I was
prime of the
gonna say, like,
boombox. Yeah,
The boombox room was like,
Because at the time, that was really the only spot that was playing hip hop.
yeah,
right?
on the strip. Yeah,
On the strip, aside from maybe Dre's After Hours.
that felt like a little like its own nightclub.
It was.
yeah.
Its own
Sure.
nightclub. It was like the common people were.
Yeah.
Like, we don't want to hear like what's going on. And even me, I'd be like, this is
Yeah,
fun.
you would come hang out down there and just chill.
I played Fridays there.
Yeah.
I played Fridays. I
That's
was
right.
jealous. Like, man, we have Cascade upstairs, and I'm downstairs playing with like a bunch of basketball players, and they're believing that I love this.
Like, who the fuck is French Montana?
Boombox room is in Marquee. It was like the hip hop room. Right?
Yes.
It's downstairs.
Yeah.
And I felt like it opened the door for a lot of clubs to start having a hip hop room afterwards. You know
Not
what I mean?
really. Nah, Jet had the hip hop room.
Okay, so I
back in
didn't.
the days.
Yeah, you're right.
Jet.
Yeah.
They
Them?
did the little
That's the
side room. Yeah.
Oh, the
That was
side
like all
room.
hip-hop,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's so weird because like when I first moved to Vegas, the house was in the side room, and then in the span
But Jet had the two side rooms.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but it was like the house was in the side rooms when
One
I
of them,
first
yeah.
moved out in 2005, and then
Yeah.
in the span of like 5-6 years, house was in the main room and hip hop was on the side rooms.
Yeah.
And then there was like, I remember there was a time when us house hip hop DJs, open format DJs, we had to be like, are we going to become house DJs or are we going to stay open format and shit like that? And I remember that time, and that's when you were like, that's when you were shining. You were like, nah, I remember. You're being humble right now.
No.
No, you were shining. It was like the moment when you started
It was scary.
headlining.
Man. It was
You were
scary.
scared?
Yeah, a little bit. It was intimidating because you're like put on a stage with these guys that have been playing this type of music for so long, and I'm on Serato.
So you were more scared than you were like excited?
I was excited. I was like, this is the dream come true, but I was also like scared. Like, what if I'm not good enough? What if I suck? What if I can't? You know, I don't know. It's all like the doubt, the self-doubt.
How long did that last?
I don't know. I still have those moments.
Get
man.
out of here.
I swear on my life.
Do you think maybe that some of the operations in Vegas, some of the operators in Vegas who are running some of the nightclubs and the nightlife, do you think they sometimes with like maybe their resident DJs or the local DJs, do they kind of marginalize them a little bit or maybe fuck with them a little bit more than because I remember like, dude, it was rough in the mid 2000s and in the 2000s for DJs, it was rough. Yeah. We got yelled at. We got threatened.
Suspended.
Damn.
Like they really kind of like really fucked with us.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't even just one group. It was all the groups. Like it was like crazy. Like I said, I couldn't even work in Vegas for a year.
Yeah.
Like they were pretty tough on motherfuckers.
Mm-hmm.
They made you question yourself all the time.
Yeah.
Do you think that kind of growing into a scene like that? Because that was very different from New York. Because when I came from New York, management and operators actually, they really respected the DJs. And then when I moved to Vegas, it was like, whoa, I was getting yelled at. I remember I was DJing at one venue and the manager was like playing my song. It was what was it?
I know the song. It was Betty Davis Eyes.
Betty Davis Eyes.
I don't know how I remember that shit, but
So every night the manager wanted me to play Betty Davis Eyes.
Like opening or whenever they.
No, at the end of the night. Like if when they close, he's like, you know, Betty Davis Eyes right now. Remember the way he talks?
yeah, just like that.
Hey, Cricket, you know what song to play? Just play Betty Davis Eyes right now.
And he
you
was
know?
drunk by that time of the night.
And then
that made it worse.
All of us had to play it. And I think one night he disappeared and I closed up and I had my backpack. And he just waltzed in. He was just like, where the fuck you going? Get on the fucking turntables and play my Betty Davis Eyes right now. And then he like exactly like that. And you were with me.
I was, yeah.
And I was like, yo, are you serious? He's like, if you don't fucking play Bette Davis Eyes right now, you're never gonna work in this fucking city again. You're never gonna work any fucking where. You're gonna go back to whatever fucking shithole you lived in, or some shit in New York. And he just went. He was going off, and I looked at Neva, and I was like, maybe here for I was here for 2 months or 3 months.
I'm trying to decipher the fucking accent. I don't know who the fuck. No. I'm like, who could it?
He's actually a really good guy.
Okay,
but it was a dark time. It was a dark time.
Okay.
And I remember looking at him like, yo, like, this is how y'all talk to motherfuckers? And I think I just left.
You left, yeah. And he was pissed.
And he was yelling on my way out like a movie. Like, you never work in this town again? You're dead. You're dead. You know, like
a hangover.
And then I had a call the next day. And then they're like, so something happened last night. You know, what happened? Because they want me to fire you. And I'm like, yo, I just moved out here. Y'all gonna fucking fire me? And then I explained the situation, like, let me take care of it. They're like, next time, just hook up your computer and play the fucking song. And I was like,
fucking
you know what?
whore.
I was like, all right. But it was like that, right?
I mean, listen, I think it's like that everywhere. And maybe not in our days coming up, like, or maybe not in the 90s and early 2000s. Maybe I just think the stakes are higher out here. The money's bigger.
Yeah.
And they're just afraid of like what we're afraid of, which is like a wildfire of people leaving. Which, you know what? It's taken me a long time to recognize, like, it takes a lot to get in the fucking club. You got to stand in line. You got to buy a table, or you got to pay to get in, or you got to get a drink, or you got to go through security, and you got to go on an elevator. Like,
we're not even talking about coat check either.
Right.
yeah, like
Everything.
They're gonna lose your jacket. I've had that mad times, yo.
Yeah.
how many times have we been out, even when you want to go out, and you've been through 5 steps to get to where you want to be, and if you really want to change your mind, you're like, nah, fuck that. Even if it's
I
across
did
the
too
You
much
did
to
too
get
much,
in
yeah.
there.
You pay for parking or whatever.
Even if it's across the street, like, it might be cold, like you might be in New York, like, nah. So I have to remind myself sometimes, like, nah, they're not leaving. Nah, they'll sit through this one out. They might not like this song, but they're gonna
You're gonna hear this fucking house music.
Yeah,
God
you're gonna.
damn it.
No, but like, listen, if it's open format, it's different. Like, I think you gotta watch the energy, or I like to watch the energy. Like, is this changing? Are they still excited? Are they getting numb to this? But when it comes to like what you're doing as like what you love, you have to trust what you're doing. Like, that's where you're going. And if they trust you from like a few songs, they're gonna trust you through a couple songs they don't like. Because they already know this guy's got he's got decent taste.
I love how zen you are.
Man.
No,
Yeah, right.
Mental health, man. Let me tell you, those shrooms.
But yo,
those shrooms and CBD oils.
the shrooms help. I will say the shrooms.
I know
help.
the 2000s Jason Lema though. You had to put motherfuckers in check sometimes.
Oh yeah, I still do.
Yeah.
I still do.
There's times where you like motherfuckers come up to you and you were like, yo, don't talk to me like that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like big dudes, big dogs.
No, yeah, but
But the thing, he does look intimidating though. He looks like he'll fuck you up.
no. I'm just intense. I'm an intense person. I can't be an intense person. I can't. I mean what I say, and I say what I mean. Like, when I look at you in the eye, I mean it. Like,
I'm scared.
no.
But hold me.
You know what I've learned though? Like,
I mean, he was huskier too a little
Oh
bit.
wow.
listen.
No, but now he looks like he really can beat your ass.
No. Listen, when I
No, but the thing
He's
is,
Colombian too, bro. Pablo Escobar, the cartels.
in Vegas, like you kind of got to take people's shit.
a little bit.
You got to take people's shit.
Yeah.
And I've just learned that being out here, like if someone yells at me, back in the day, I'd be like, yo, who the fuck are you? Like, who the fuck are you? I'd be like that. Now I'm just like, okay. And then they'll walk away and I'll be like, someone just yelled at me. Is he important? Like, that's what you have to do now.
Yeah.
You literally have to like,
Yeah, you have to check, fact check them.
yeah. I that happens to me all the time now. And I'm just kind of like, all right, okay, cool. I just got my ass chewed up for no fucking reason. And then I just got to text or email someone the next day like, hey, who was
What was that about?
the chubby guy with the glasses and the blue suit like yelling at me? And they're like, oh yeah, he's in one of the investors. I'm like, I got it. I understand now.
You know what happens too, where I've learned that even when you go off on like let's say a group of girls or some guy that's being obnoxious, like if I go off on them or I bite back, I take it home. I just owned it. I just stuck it to me. And I'm going to wake up and I'm going to think about it when I wake up. Like, man, that motherfucker, I can't believe it. But if I, just say, hey, man, I'm not going to do that, man. Just kind of brush them off. Like, dude, it's not going to happen. I'm sorry. Like, I just don't, it doesn't stick to me. He's not mad at me. I made peace with him.
What is all these changes now? You weren't always like this.
No, I know.
Is it because you just told me earlier? Is it because you don't jerk off anymore? Like you don't watch porn anymore?
He doesn't watch porn no more.
No, I don't watch porn anymore. I do jerk off in emergency situations.
Okay.
What's an emergency?
Like what? Like I'm guessing like a wife out of town.
If I can't
to
sleep,
clear your mind a little.
If I can't sleep and it's just it's not gonna let me sleep, I gotta kill it.
You gotta feed the geese. Bro.
I gotta kill it. But as far as watching porn, I feel like it's.
Wait, I want to know what triggered you to stop.
You stopped watching porn.
Yeah.
For how long?
It's been 3 years.
Oh no.
It's been 3 years.
That's more impressive to me than being sober for 10.
I tell you what, man.
Same. How did you stop? Oh, yeah, let's walk us through.
I randomly watched some TED Talk, some guy talking about it.
Okay.
And the guy was like talking about how this is what's wrong with porn. And I was like, I'm just going to sit through these 10 minutes or whatever it was, 20 minutes. And everything that he pointed out, I was like, fuck, this is fucked up. Like all we watch in porn is like the penetration or the zooming in of the things, or what are you seeing? What is that? It has to be. So then I noticed that, like, hey man, it's taken away from my experiences at home with my wife, because now I'm like, I need to see more. I need the, like, where is the zoom lens? Where is the point of view? And I'm like, if the less I watch, the more I'm in the moment and I'm feeling more. And it comes to everything else, man. Like I just like, fuck, I'm not like feeding this machine of like, oh, if I search this, then they're gonna try to find girls that do more of that. Like, why am I don't want that, man.
The domino effect.
Yeah, and it really, like, I don't want to feed that machine. I know I don't want to sound all super deep, but those kids have to come from fucked up, background to do that for a living. Because you're gonna, like I said, you're gonna make the money and you're gonna spend the money. Well, then what? Then what are you left with? Like, yeah. I know.
I'm still gonna jerk off to porn, dog.
You're going like,
okay, let's take
it's like The Matrix 4 right now.
This is what happened.
Okay,
so
blue pill, red
fucking
pill.
up this.
So we've all watched a lot of porn and we've done a lot of fucking
nasty things. Yeah.
We got enough. What else can you see?
Some of us.
What else can you see that's gonna stimulate you? What have you not seen that's gonna really get it? Like, if you really need your imagination is gonna take you there, man. If you're having an experience, like, you could take your mind somewhere else, man, and you could really bring that. Do you need to see it right there, like another penetration to get involved with this penetration? Or I feel like it takes, like, listen, I'm married. I've been with my wife for 20 years. I've been married, coming up on 9 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's big business.
Yeah, man.
That's dope.
She's the best. She's smoking hot. She's a great mom.
She really is.
She's
Whoa.
No, man. No. Damn, if D said that.
No, she.
I didn't mean it.
Lema, be careful.
No.
I got a lot of. I'm so proud of him, man.
Wait.
God damn.
Why you say you so proud of him?
Because when I remember we had a Christmas party maybe. I was like, damn, like Lema got him a good one. Like, she's beautiful.
Yeah.
And I remember before they even had a kid, he was like, yeah, man, like, we're not ready for a kid. I think we're trying to figure out if we want to get a dog. I remember you having the conversations like, I think I want to get a dog because we're not ready for a kid yet. And I was like,
God.
dude, get a dog. That's dope.
What the fuck, D-Mouse?
My wife's hot. She is. I don't care. She is hot. I love that she's hot. But she's the hottest girl. That's the nicest girl I've ever met. Like, the most kindest. Like, when I first met her, I'm like, fuck, she's this hot. She's this nice. How the fuck? Wait till she figures out how bad I am, right?
Mentally fucked
how
up.
moody I am, or whatever it is. Like,
I'm broken inside.
But, in order for you to be, like, in a healthy relationship, you can't have, I feel like you can't have a side piece, man. And that's your side piece.
Yeah.
The porn is a side piece. It's your fucking extra bitch on the side. And the more you get there, over time, like, you want your relationship to be, like, still here, not be more about your side piece. And you can't be 50-50 or even 30-70. You got to be, so I've had enough of that side piece. I'm good. I like my girl. I want to be with her till I'm old. She's putting up with me and in my old age, my grumpiness, or whatever it is, crazy shit I do. And she supports me, man. When I first met her, I didn't have a car. I was dragging around fucking crates through the Paris. Like, I don't want to fuck that up, man. I don't want to fuck that up.
Wow, man.
Dude, he seems like he's very clear-headed.
Yeah.
No, but that's just the truth,
No,
man.
it does. If you look at relationships
Yeah.
and you value the relationships that you have, and especially when you get older, then there's like a history to a lot of relationships, friendships, relationships, even family. You really gotta, like, if you take, I feel like not a lot of us take the time to really think about what people sacrificed for us in the past.
Yeah, yeah.
And we kind of forget 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 20 years ago. And then sometimes when you really think about it, you're kind of like, wow, I'm really not appreciating this
Support system.
Yeah.
Support system, you know, believing in you.
For real.
Or listening to you.
Yeah.
All that, man. Like, it comes with the price, man. Like, you know, sometimes people get divorced and like, man, this girl took this guy out for this all his money. Like, you don't know what she sat through for 10 years supporting him. I mean, not always, but there's definitely that.
Yeah, that's a tricky situation.
It is tricky. It is tricky, but it is
Dre.
tricky. You're right, 100%. But there's also like the guys. I feel like being single's gotta be tough, man. Being single has to be like being single and being successful has to be two full-time jobs.
I know
like you have to be a lot of energy into you, and then what if you meet some chick that you really like? Now you have to be out with her 4 nights a week because you really like her, but then you got to wake up early because you really want to be good at your other thing too. So how do you do that? But when you, like for me, when I'm married, I'm like, listen, I got to go do a podcast with my friends. These guys are doing something cool. She's like, oh, I know that's your thing. Like, you can't always do that when you're.
So your relationship, the support system is streamlined. It's like, you know, it's like a well-oiled machine at this point.
It's
you know?
it's part of the package, man.
Yeah.
It's part of like your whole brand is your.
And then single people are still kind of like putting shit together, like in IKEA, like dining table.
I mean,
And you're like, look, my dining table's been here for 20 years. What are you guys doing? You still putting that together?
Oh, fucking
Can't find the screw.
Missing a screw, huh?
Where in the head?
She keeps falling apart.
being married is not for everybody, man.
Well, did you grow up with your parents married?
My parents were married. They got divorced after 30 years.
Yeah, that's
it sucked. It sucked, and that fucked me up. When I was like, I'm never getting married. If my parents get divorced after 30 years,
yeah,
that's fucking old school mentality. They quit at 30 years.
I'm afraid of marriage because of I think in my earlier years I was very afraid of marriage because I've never seen a stable marriage.
Oh no, I mean I grew up.
You know what I'm saying? I've never seen that shit before. So I always thought marriage is it's just it's all doomed.
Well, my parents was married for over 50 years.
Yeah.
But it's funny though because towards the 40-year mark, they started to argue a lot, and it started to get bad.
Yeah.
But then my mother got dementia, so they was almost talking about getting divorced. But my mom's got sick, so my father was nothing was going to happen. He was going to leave her, so they stayed together.
Yeah.
And rolled it out.
They rolled it out.
Same, I think for me, my grandparents, they were my essentially my parents, my idols, and they were married for 62 years until my grandfather passed away. And I have a strong belief in marriage, but I think over time, the relationships I've been in, my belief has gotten less and less with the women I've dealt with.
I mean, yeah.
Oh, so you actually had a more optimistic view of marriage in the beginning.
Hell yeah.
And now it's
it's diminished.
Yeah,
dissipating a little bit.
I still believe in it, but it's just my faith in it has dwindled.
Well, I still have it. My parents been married for 36 years now. So I'm I see it, so I believe in it. But I get where he's coming from, though. Because I believe in marriage, and I believe that's not for everybody, but I do believe that I can obtain it and really stick with it because I've seen it growing up. So,
I mean, getting married is easy. Staying married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you stay married? How do you go through the 10-year mark and the 15-year mark? And how do you continue when your life changes? You could be in a different place 20 years from now. You could turn like a leaf and be like, oh, I'm into this and she's not into that. But, I always tell my friends that are single, thinking about marriage, I'm like, listen, man, you have to love let's say your girl on her worst day. What's her worst version?
Yeah.
And what's her best version? That's a range. Is that the range you want to live in? Because it's going to get progressively worse. She's going to get more of this and more of that. But nobody wakes up crazy. Nobody wakes up oh, this bitch just went crazy. No, she was always crazy. But you were ignoring the
red
dark
flags.
Yeah, you were so much in love.
Right. And you're like,
You overlooked the craziness.
You overlooked it. You were having fun, and you're like, this might not last, so I'm still gonna put up with it. But then you get more emotionally invested, and you're like, fuck, she's always been crazy, but fuck, man, I'm so deep in it. How do I get out? Or I don't want to be in it. But same with guys. Like you're gonna turn into your dad. You are. Whatever your dad is, you're kind of going to turn some version of that. You're going to get grumpier.
You're right.
Things are going to happen.
I'm already like that. I'm slowly turning to my father. I'm not happy about that.
His face changed.
But can't you put up with that?
It's weird though. It just kind of, you started getting really, really grumpy recently.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know
man.
why?
I was never like that.
Was it because of the pandemic, or was it after?
I don't know. Maybe
No, because I was
maybe
staying
a little bit before the pandemic, but it got worse during the pandemic. But yeah. And I'm trying. Like one day, I was like trying to figure out. I don't want to get turned into my father. He was always grumpy, mad, cursing people out. And I'm starting to get like that, and I'm just like, I was never like that.
What was the guy's name in The Honeymooners? Ralph Cramden.
Ralph Cramden.
It was like the Black Ralph Cramden.
Yeah.
You guys don't know this reference.
No.
You're talking about like
Showing your
the
age.
black and white honeymooners, like the old school.
Yeah.
You know what? Like,
Bang pow to the moon. That's what you used to say, some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pow.
I
forgot what it was.
We're really
but yeah.
showing our age.
I know.
Right? This motherfucker was like, the black and white TV show.
honeymooners, yeah. But you know what you should look into, because I know that like your testosterone could be changing, man. Like for real.
Yeah, it's definitely
And her energy makes you grumpy. Like
maybe
my dad was grumpy when I was growing up because he was working too much, and now you're at that age where your dad he was grumpy, and you should check that out, because that does affect your mood. Where you're like, fuck, I'm tired and I'm
absolutely
grumpy.
yeah.
That's why I changed the way I eat, because I was tired of fucking being tired. Why I don't drink, I don't party. Why the fuck am I tired? Obviously, our hours have been fucked up for a long time. We induce ourselves into like jet lag every week and try to catch up midweek. But you should really look into like some like support. I'm looking into that now. Like I want to live and be energetic. I don't want to be grumpier.
Yeah.
I want to be less grumpy.
Are you taking therapy?
What do you mean?
Like mental
therapy.
That's what I do mushrooms for.
Okay.
Yeah. Honestly.
So
I don't do
self-medication.
Yeah.
You're not into therapy?
I was actually, I was doing, sounds hocus pocus, but I was going for a spiritual healer because I was trying to get my wife pregnant. We couldn't. And somebody at my work went to this lady, and she goes, this lady gives a lot of answers. And I'm like, I'll give it a shot, fuck it. So I went to this lady and she's like, what are you here for? And I'm like, I kind of just want to know if I need to do IVF or it's going to happen natural. And this lady didn't know me, and she goes, did your father almost die recently?
Damn.
And I started crying. I was like, fuck, man. And she was the truth. And then I was like, okay, I want to come to you by myself without my wife. And then I would just cry and be like, yo, it's really hard doing what I'm doing right now. My dad's sick, and she's like, you have to work on yourself and believe in yourself, because you're not going to get through it if you don't. I was like, fuck. So that was my therapy for a long time. I would go to this lady, and she would just say, look, you're in a toxic environment. Everyone's on drugs. They're projecting jealousy, lust. Like DJs are looking at you like, fuck, why you? And you're sticking to you. Or they touch you through the crowd like, yo, yo, yo. That little touching is sticking to you, but you have to work on that. You have to work on just accepting people's hate on you. Accept the haters. Who cares? For a long time, I was like, fuck, these people are hitting me up to work here, but I can't help them. Like, it's not my responsibility. I'm sorry, I can't help you. So that was my therapy at first. Now I do microdose mushrooms, man. You know why? Because it reminds me of what Jason was as a kid. Bigger imagination. Well, my kid does. Everything is possible. But then I've dialed that, no, I can't. That's not possible. No, I don't. I'm too old. I'm too this. I'm too that. When I microdose mushrooms and I go for hikes and I do it like, even to work on music, fuck, anything's possible. Why not?
Psychedelic shit, bro.
A lot of DJs I know are microdosing mushrooms, and they quit drinking.
It's the best, man.
It is.
It really is, man.
While you're DJing?
No.
No.
Not while I'm DJing.
No. You're completely sober when you DJ.
Yeah.
So this is just life, like everyday activities? Or?
I do it 4 days on, 3 days off. There's a formula to it. Like, you have to like...
See, the guys I'm talking to are microdosing mushrooms when they DJ.
I mean, you could do that too. I mean, if you're comfortable with it, I think it opens you up, like as far as like it stimulates parts of your brain that aren't always active. Like Richard at, 5 years old was a different Richard as you are now.
Most definitely.
Your belief,
1000%.
your belief system, your curiosity, your
innocence and everything.
Innocence, like opening up, like why, man? Like we've all been, molded by our own brain. Like when you just let go of that, anything's possible. Man. You still have all the opportunities possible. You can do whatever you want, man. If you want to turn around today and say, dude, I want to be a fucking scientist, you can. But that's the way I feel.
This is on mushrooms.
No, that's the way I feel. That's how I feel when I do mushrooms often. I feel like
you could be a scientist.
I want to be nicer, man. I just want to be nicer. I just want to be nicer. Like I want to be fun, man. I don't want to take myself so serious.
You want to be happier.
Yeah, man. Just fucking what the fuck? We all being like.
Jason, you're such a hippie now.
Nah, I'm not.
I fuck with it though, bro. Because I thought about microdosing.
It's just.
But I'm scared. Like I don't know what type of high I'm gonna get.
Yeah.
Like I'm usually like smoke weed or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm like so scared because of what I guess society has made mushrooms look like. Like you see all this different shit.
Yeah.
So that's my only. Scare.
But see, you don't want to take enough to see shit. You want to just feel like a little bit, like you just took a small hit. I don't like weed. It doesn't work for me psychoactively. Like it makes me feel like a schizophrenic.
You're smoking the wrong things, but yeah.
I've tried it all.
Okay.
I don't like it. Numbs me. I don't want to be numb. I want to feel more. I want to feel the beat. I want to feel music. I want to be like. I want to hear triple beats. I don't want to feel like I don't. That's just to me. But when I do mushrooms, I feel light. I feel fun. I just feel like young again. Like it just opens up my brain. Where I don't like. I'm not self-sabotaging because I self-sabotage myself. Nah, I can't. Nah, I'm not good enough. Not like there's nobody talks to you more than you. Who talks to you more than you?
That's a bar.
Yeah.
Who's the coach? Who's the coach? Right? That coach has to be fun. That guy in your head has to be fun. Otherwise, no one else is gonna see that guy. So when I do mushrooms, I'm more fun to Jason. I'm nicer to Jason. I believe in Jason and I trust Jason.
You know what?
It's tripping me out.
Yeah, I'm with this shit.
But it's tripping me out when he's talking himself in the third person.
Like he's talking third person.
But
who's Jason? Himself up.
Who's Jason?
Yeah.
I kept these talking about Jason Strauss. I'm like,
I thought so. The first couple of times, I thought the same thing.
it's just anyway, man.
How much did you start doing in the beginning?
I started doing like 0.2 of a gram.
Okay.
Very small.
do you eat them or do you?
The pill shape?
I was putting them in capsules.
So what my friend does, he takes the mushrooms, he puts them in a blender or grinder, and then he puts them in capsules.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, that's what you do.
And you take let's say one capsule, and then you're gonna feel like originally when I first started it, there's a little moment of like anxiety that when you take it, like in the beginning, where you're like, what am I gonna feel? Is this gonna go deeper? Am I gonna get weird? So what I started doing is waking up like at 4 in the morning, taking them and going back to bed. And then I would get through that part and then wake up like, whoa, I feel good.
So when you wake up, you still feel it.
I mean, I would dream on it. Like I would go back, I'd wake up, like take a little bit and then like close my eyes and I kind of drift off, but have like a really vivid kind of like dream and then wake up and play with my kid. I'm like, I feel great. Hey, let's go to school. And then, Daddy, look at that. Yeah. Or whatever. I'd come back and work on some music. I'm like, I just feel good. I feel like that Zen moment, right?
Yeah.
And then I got used to that. And then I would take them in the morning, like, right after I drop off my kid at school, take some and feel good. Work on some music or look for some music. Now and then, when my wife's out of town or if I do a traveling gig, I'll pick a day and I'll take a heroic dose.
Like what is this?
A what?
A heroic dose. Like
heroic.
Okay. Heroic. Like
double?
I want to be scared.
Oh, no.
I want to go deep.
You want to see where it's going to take you.
Yeah. I want to go deep. I want to get lost and I want to find myself too. Like that's just, I get a thrill from that. I know I'm not going to die.
So what's happened when you did that?
I meditate and I get scared. I've cried before. I let go of some stuff like, okay. Like I get to the truth of like some stuff I've been holding on to or, maybe some fears in my life or maybe losing my parents, whatever it is. Like my darkest fears, I go and I deal with it. I sit on it and I get through that storm, man. I come out like I feel good.
Damn, I need that shit, bro.
You mentioned meditating. Do you meditate every day?
No. No.
I've been trying to do that, but
It's a practice.
Yeah.
It's a practice.
You seem very regimented,
I try, man. Like I do.
but you weren't always like that.
No.
So recently, you've actually went. I mean, I feel like sometimes, I feel like I was very regimented in my earlier days.
Yeah.
And then now I'm in a kind of like not a chaotic state, but I just like kind of flowing with it.
Sure.
But I think I'll go back to a regimented state. You know what I'm saying?
Does the chaos work for you?
I don't know if it's the chaos. I think sometimes when it's regimented, I overdo it.
Yeah.
So I kill myself a little bit because I'm scheduling this and I'm like, you know, I'm forcing myself to do all these things. And I think when I just flow with it,
It's more fun.
it's more fun, but it's like, you know, when you also get good at shit, you don't have to plan ahead as much for myself. So I'm kind of just like, you know, I'm not going to, and it's also like you said, inside, I'm not going to like get on myself of like, you have to do this. Like, I'm just kind of like, yo, you know, I'm going to get to it when I get to it.
There's things that I do follow a regimen with. Like
Right.
I know like the way I eat and all that does affect my life a lot. Like if I put on like, if I eat a lot of junk, I don't feel good. I don't like who I am, especially to myself. Internally, I'm like, fuck you. You suck, man. Look at you. You lost it. You don't have it. But when it comes to other parts of my life, I'm a little bit more loose. Like when it comes to my socials, I'm like, fuck it, dude. I don't care, man. I do, but I don't. And I should, but I don't want to. Because it's not that important. Really.
But it's also because of the fact that you put in so much work into your craft and to the position that you are in right now that you don't really worry about. And I could be overshooting this. Tell me if I'm wrong. I feel like you're in a good situation and you're secure in your line of work, so you don't have to worry about that. But somebody who isn't as secure in where they are in their career is more focused on the social media a little bit more, right?
I don't know. I don't know how to answer that because that's like that's your perspective. That's,
Well, I'm wondering. I'm asking.
no, like so. Whatever I imagined my career to be 10 years ago,
Yeah.
I would imagine that I'd be. If someone would have fast forwarded, I would have been like, "Holy crap! Like that's where you could go, or that's where you're going to be." But it shouldn't come from like forcing people to like you. Like where I'm at today, I don't want people to tell me who I am. I want to feel who I am. I don't need someone to tell me you're great. I want to feel great. Like I don't need this like, man, you killed it, because if I don't feel good about how I did that night, what does it matter? If I don't love what I do, it doesn't matter what everyone else thinks, because I still don't feel fulfilled. You know what I mean? Like if you're trying to, you know, beg people to pay attention to you, then what's it all for, man?
Yeah.
They should be paying attention because man, look at this guy or girl, like they really love what they're doing. You know, not like, hey, look at me, because that's only going to be sustained until the next person is more attractive.
Oh,
This guy, bro. This fucking guy. My favorites.
And you know what? I've seen Lema DJ for the last 13 years, and there's never been one time where I didn't feel like he loved what he was doing. And that's just.
Well, he didn't love what he's doing?
Yeah, he didn't love what he was doing. Like every time I watch him DJ, I feel like he loves that shit.
I do.
You know what I'm saying? Like you're dancing, you're interacting with the crowd.
I love it.
You're like whistling, like your signature whistle.
It's a moment, man. It feels good to make people smile and all that. And it's not about like them thinking whatever. It's not about them projecting like, wow, you're great. It's more like we had a great moment. We all did.
Yeah.
This room was popping tonight. You know what? At the end of the night, those 10 people got me. And in my head, I feel good about that. Like you know, no one could really tell you how you should feel about yourself. It's hard, but so if someone's out there struggling, trying to be recognized, like just be good at being you. There's only one of you.
You started doing a smaller party at Marquee in the library recently.
Wednesdays, right?
Yeah.
And that's every week?
It's every week.
Well, what's different about that? Obviously, it's a smaller room. It's a way smaller room.
So it's a library. It's on the.
What's it called?
It's called the library.
No, it's
called Low Key.
Yeah, Low Key.
It's called Low Key.
Wednesdays.
And it's a library on top of the main room of Marquee, and
a lot of people don't know about it.
They don't.
Yeah,
I forgot about that room.
It's called Low Key.
That's why it's called Low Key.
And it's an amazing.
It is dope. Yeah.
It's all like the rooms that I grew up in, like in Miami, like Groove Jet and like living room, and it's all red. There's no confetti or lasers or special effects or dancers or anything. It's more like a boiler room. There's a DJ booth and there's people standing around it. You could stand behind the DJ and see what they're doing. So if you're up there just playing and everything's just going, that's what they're seeing. So you have to perform. You have to give them a show. Or I feel like I have to give them a show. When I play, I want people to see me connecting the next vibe and going back and forth. And that's what I feel it's missing sometimes in the dance music scene. Like there's so much special effects and there is great music, but to see somebody like cooking and seeing them cooking, like if you could go to someone like, you know, your favorite chef and watch them chop and cut and slice and saute, you'd be like, fuck, this is how this guy does it? What can I learn? Or this is entertaining. That's low-key Wednesdays.
And what do you get to play over there that you don't normally play? Like you get to go deeper in house?
Deeper and even like, you know, some techie stuff, some darker stuff, some techno, whatever the vibe, you know, dictates. It doesn't always have to be deep, doesn't always have to be groovy, but there's definitely it's not the mainstream hits. It's not going to be that.
How long is your set for those parties?
It depends. Like if I'm headlining, I start at 12:30 and we end at 4. So we could get a closer. I don't want that. I want to play the whole story. I want to tell my story from open to close. The first song is the most important as much as the last song to me.
So you do the whole night?
I do the whole night.
I love that.
I want to do the whole
night. I really want that in Vegas.
Yeah.
I want like a venue, a small venue where I could just do open to close.
Can you imagine?
And I would love it. For some reason, like I go out of town, I do headlining gigs. It's 2 hours. It never seems fulfilling to me. It's not fulfilling. No. It's only fulfilling when I'm doing like 4 to 5 hours. Yeah. And you feel
you have a lot to say.
Yeah. Because there's so many ways, there's so many genres, there's so many places. Yeah. That's you know, after what, 20 plus years of DJing in this industry, it's like I have like so many songs I want to play.
Yeah.
So
I feel like that would be a great counterpart to like what I'm doing or we're doing. It would be a room like the library, but of everything. Like you could just play anything. You could play disco, you could play old school hip hop, you could play new stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
you know what? Actually, you get to do that on the record and on the bus in that side room. Like I spend there and I play everything. Yeah. I do disco, hip hop, reggae. Just like mix it up, and I'm spending for like 4 or 5 hours. So,
do you feel pressure of like the room?
No, nobody. No, not really. No, I just do it. Then again, it could be the liquor that got me like, oh, I don't give a fuck about these rough. Nah, but still, it's fun though.
That's how we started, man.
Yeah.
Do you have an opener or no?
Yeah. So I don't headline every Wednesday. I only do like 1 or 2 Wednesdays a month where I headline, and so I open up. I have the Techno Taco guys play for the first hour. I play the hour before the headline.
Who's Techno Taco?
Techno Tacos is like, so the party I was telling you about earlier at Firefly that I was doing, it was called Midnight Snack.
Back in the day?
Back in the day.
Oh, wow.
Midnight Snack, you said? What was it called?
It's called Midnight Snack.
Oh, okay, cool.
So these 2 guys, Tino and Oscar Molina, they started doing it at Tacos and Beer, which is the old Firefly. And they started doing Techno Tacos, and these guys are passionate about techno, and they killed it. And now they do it downtown. Those guys, I believe, are servicing this crowd weekly, even when it's dead downtown. And so I want them to be involved and be part of this. So they do the first hour, I do the second hour, and then we have a headliner that comes on from 12:30 to 2:30. If they choose. If they want to play longer, they can. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But if they get off, I'm going to make sure that room stays like hot. And I want it to be fun and service whatever needs to be done in that room to keep it like exciting. And you know, because I've seen a lot of DJs, they come in and not just where I'm playing now, but you know, the passion's not there. They're just there to make their 2-hour check and go.
Yeah.
Or to do their exact set. Like, would you do that exact set back when you first started? You'd want to play as long as you can, right? You want your people to like see you and what you do. So yeah, it's every Wednesday. It's called Low Key Wednesdays. It's fun, man. It's like my little baby.
When I saw you launching it on social media, you did post about it on.
Yes, yeah, he did.
Yeah. No, I have to.
One of the rare posts that you post up on IG. I was like really happy for you that like you had your own platform or you had your own party that you could do pretty much kind of as whatever you wanted with it. You know, I felt like you deserve that, like for the years that you put in and shit. You know what I mean? I don't know all the details behind the scenes on
I don't feel like anything that I do is deserved. I feel like we're here to serve, man. Like I'm here to service the crowd, and I feel like there's not enough people that care. I care. Mm-hmm. I care about that scene. I want people to know that when they walk in, I'm servicing that part of the scene that's not being serviced here in Las Vegas, because Las Vegas right now, even with the dance music scene, it's all about the 2-hour big room set or the most explosive. But what about the gentle set or the darker set or the most underground set? There's people that want that, and you could get that fixed where we're at.
I mean, I think what's happening in nightlife, you know, and it happens a lot, is that it becomes predictable and it becomes like manufactured. You know what I mean? And then I think sometimes DJs are afraid to have their own voice, so they continue to emulate what somebody else is doing.
Sure.
So like if this DJ's, you know, successful, I'll do exactly what he does. That works.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it just kind of like spirals, and you start seeing the same DJs. They're all playing the same way, and they're doing the same. You know, like when I go out nowadays in Vegas,
I'm an asshole.
What do you mean you're an asshole?
No, I'm an asshole. I go out, I'm like, this sucks. This song sucks, or this is again.
What I'm noticing is that the EDM or house that they're playing is more of a soundtrack to the cryo and the confetti than it actually is the music.
Yeah.
So some of the songs that the DJs are playing, I don't even know what the song is. I don't know what remix this is. It's just some filler joint that has a big build up and a huge hit, and it's just for the cryo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things where the DJs are like, all right, this is a filler joint. I play this when they need cryo. And then I play like all these other hits. And then I do another cryo hit.
Yeah.
But then you kind of see, right?
Yeah. It's, you know, I think nightlife in Las Vegas is designed right now for the stimulation. Like it's around bottle service.
See, I think it's actually built around a social media video recap or a photo. You know, they want that to capture that thing. They want
that moment.
They want the crowd. They want the hands in the air from the crowd. They want the best looking DJ up there. They want all these elements that creates, you know, a good recap video or a good recap photo to promote more of their events. If that makes any sense. But it makes sense. You know what I mean? It's like a movie trailer or whatever the fuck you want. You know, they're gonna put the best moments in there.
Yeah.
The hottest girl.
Right.
The best looking dude that's chiseled or something like that.
And then they have that big action sequence. And it's like, yo, I want to see that movie, right?
Yeah.
And it's the same thing.
I want to go there, yeah.
It's the same thing that I think a lot of the Vegas venues is, which is understandable. Like, I get it. I
also feel like a lot of this, you know, nightlife is built around egos.
Of course.
Around like the bottle service crowd is the ego. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm spending. Look at my table. Look how many girls I have, and that's the opposite of what like nightlife should be, man. It should be like, you know what, man, I need to get out of here and feel good. And go out and just like, that's not gonna make you feel good. You're not gonna feel good if you're just surrounded by a bunch of girls for one night, maybe, but maybe the next day it's like,
Do you go out like and?
I'm an asshole when I go out. Like in my head,
are you just overanalyzing everything?
Yeah, everything. Like, why is this guy?
We just talked about this, right?
Yeah,
so,
like even if I don't want to, I'm paying attention. Like, fuck this! I heard that little mess up right there. Or, that speaker's broken. that subwoofer's rattling.
You can't help but be a critic.
I can't help it, man. But I do go out sometimes and really like enjoy. Let's say even for open format, I'm like, man, I never even heard these songs, and I kind of like it. They're kind of hood, but I kind of like it, man. Like it hits me. And so sometimes I do. Yeah. Not all the time, but the big EDM shows, I don't go. Like, I just can't, man. I just went to Life is Beautiful, and I was walking around like, what is going on? Even like, I hate to say it, but one of my favorite rappers was up there, and the sound was so distorted. I was like, oh.
What, ASAP?
No.
Post Malone.
No.
Oh.
Well, who was it? Who was your favorite? We'll bleep it out.
No. It wasn't that it was my favorite. It was I really wanted to hear him. I was looking forward to hearing Busta Rhymes.
Oh.
And I was like, fuck, man.
Distorted? Was really distorted?
I'm sorry, no, not Busta Rhymes. It was Ludacris. I take it back.
Oh, okay.
It was ludicrous. I busted around this house the other day. It was ludicrous, and it just, man, it was distorted. He was talking a lot. He was trying to get like both sides of the crowd hyped, and I was like, dude, just perform, man. He talked a little bit of politics too. I was like, no.
Play stand up.
Yeah.
Throw them both.
Yeah, he was talking about how many
Move, bitch.
Anyways, man, even when I go out like for festivals, it's like,
I've gone to the festivals. I only go like if someone gives me passes, and if it's like kind of the like artist or behind the scenes pass, because I don't want to like it's just so chaotic when you're not behind the scenes and you get to roam and shit. Like it's just too much. But every time I've gone, and I've been so grateful that I've gotten the passes. Yeah. But every time I've gone, it's never hit me to like, wow, this is an amazing experience. Yeah. It's just kind of like, oh, this is kind of like,
I should be thrilled right now.
I should be like more impressed, but I'm not. And I don't know if I'm spoiled. I don't know what it is.
Okay, so check this out. Yeah, this is what happened to me that night of Life is Beautiful. My wife and I, we got a babysitter, and I took a little bit of mushrooms. I gave her more than she should have had, but she was enjoying it. She was like, this is great. And she was actually enjoying some of it. And then she's like, let's just go. I'm like, I hate what's going on. I don't really love what's going on. So we left there. I was good. We drove to the Bootlegger Bistro on Las Vegas Boulevard. Fuck, man. There was this old man playing piano, and I get goosebumps. This guy was old man playing piano and a little Korean man playing the bass. And I wanted to cry, man. I sat down, I threw him $100. I'm like, you're amazing. Thank you. And I sat there with my wife for 2 hours, just like, doom, 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 doom. Just, that's all it takes, man. All it takes is just a piano and a bass, and with my lady.
Yo, Crooked got so much pride that you said a Korean.
Yeah.
No, and he was.
No, actually, in my head, I said maybe he was Vietnamese. I don't know. No, he confirmed that this guy.
The only reason I know he was Korean because he asked me where I was from. I said my family's from Colombia, and he's like, "Oh, we don't have any songs from Colombia." I'm like, "I don't want you to play anything from me. I want you to play you. Just do. Where are you from?" He's like, "I'm from Korea," and the other white man I think was from New York, and I was like,
"What do you think touched you so much about that?"
It was just simple. It was pure, and those guys probably were making a lot of money, and they were doing it with so much passion, and they were smiling at each other, and like.
Well, you're watching two men who actually maybe like, you know, in a marketing in our world nowadays they're not relevant, but here they are. They've dedicated their life to this craft, and this is all what they love, and. Even after the industry has abused them and throw them out and they're outcasts, they're still in this bar and they're doing what they love and they're coming here maybe every week. Yeah, they're looking forward to it, and they're still you're hearing those decades of love and dedication. That's
awesome,
and it really hits you.
So while we were sitting there having dinner and they were playing, I started noticing like other pairs of couples walking in, and people were like, "Oh, look what that is." And I was like, what? How do I not? So there were other performers, maybe from the Strip or maybe that I don't recognize, that were like old school characters. Yeah. Came to hear these guys. Like, oh, wow. They've got to be good. And those guys were all tipping like, hey, how are you? Like they all knew each other. They were supporting like older
So wait, this Bootleggers, what night of the week is it?
It was Saturday night.
Saturday night.
Saturday night. It was in the restaurant, and they were just playing like just jazzy tunes, man. And, you know, Girl from Ipanema mixed in with some other like Sinatra stuff, and I was like, this is perfect. We don't need lasers and confetti and
the little things in life, bro.
Countdowns, 3, 2, 1. No, just
simple.
I was my girl. I'm like, this is perfect. I needed to see the both sides. This is the dark. This is what you don't want. This is exactly what you want.
You saw like one side that's like excess, extravagance, and then you went and it was just literally, yeah.
And it was everybody that was smiling. There was people laughing and talking. Nobody was on their phones or trying to take a video of it. Nothing.
Just simpler times.
It's bare bones.
Damn.
Yeah, it was nice.
I get mad at myself sometimes for not capturing moments on like video or photos.
Of yourself?
Just anything like it was a great moment of like I was just hanging out with Cypher Sounds, and we had like a dope conversation. I went to his comedy show. Okay. We met up. I brought 4 Color Zach, and then we went to go hear 4 Color Zach.
I heard he's amazing.
He's amazing. He's an amazing dude. Yeah, He's part of the Tao Group family too.
No, you know what? I never even heard of him, and I follow Craze.
Yeah.
On Twitter, and he was talking about him. Who's this guy? 4 Colors Zach. And then I saw that we booked him. I'm like, who is this guy? And then I saw him play. I was like, yo, this kid's like so hype. Yeah. And I'm buying it. I'm buying his hype. Like he's so excited that I'm like, I love it. His energy is like next level energy. Yeah. It's just exciting to watch, man. Like, he is. I don't even care what he's playing. He's excited to play it. And I'm gonna buy. I'm buying the program. Right. You know, there's too many cool characters in our scene that are just like, yeah, that's what I'm doing. Yeah. Take it or leave it. But when someone's excited about it, it's like, yeah, he's hype. He's super hype. Yeah. I would say, like, I was talking about him with Cypher Sounds. We went to go see Zach, and then we went to, what is that place called? God damn it. The Mexican spot by Sapphires. El Dorado. So we went to El Dorado, and then we started talking about comedy. We started talking about the similarities with comedy and DJing. Talked about Zach and how passionate he was, and, and we can see his passion. Awesome. And I was just thinking, like, yo, like a part of me was like, most motherfuckers would try to take, like, I don't know, like show this on social media or whatever like this. And then I was like, because I hang out with a lot of motherfuckers and I don't take pictures. And then maybe I don't regret it, but like maybe like 5 years later when I like see pictures, I'm like, oh, I should have taken a picture of that moment or whatever, you know? Oh, but I'm just hanging out like the day or the dinner? Or? I don't know. I'm just so anti pictures and video and social media sometimes. But I feel like it's one of those things where I got to capture the moment. For you. For me. For you. But also, yeah, for me mostly. But then I'm just kind of, I don't want to ruin the moment kind of thing, you know? I feel like it ruins the moment. And then when I share it, I feel like I'm ruining it even more because now I'm like. Exploiting it. Exactly. Or to yourself. You're like the voice inside, Richard's like telling me, like, there you are. hanging with Cypher Sounds. Well, it's like, it's kind of like, well, it's like, yeah, if I post it, it's like, I kind of want to share it to be like, yo, this was dope. But I don't think people are accepting it like that. I think they're like, they look at it like you're promoting, like, oh, yeah, I'm hanging out with this. But it's also me overanalyzing it at the same time because honestly, it's just like what it is. Like I should be able to post whatever the fuck I want. But then when I'm doing that, I'm also allowing people access to whatever I'm experiencing. I think you just do what you want to do. If you don't feel like, I get it. Yeah. But I love experiencing something and not worrying about capturing the moment and all of this shit, man. Because I feel like a lot of it sometimes is performative. Like when you know someone's recording, it becomes performative. And it's like the people you're around. Like nowadays, like I see DJs and they know when they're being recorded, and they're DJing completely different. And they, they're performing for the camera. Oh, like I see a flash. Like they're performing, and I think that's great. I think it's dope. That big smile with those extra teeth coming out. No, I think it's. I think it's dope. Actually, like I'm actually jealous. I'm jealous because I can't do that. You don't want to do that, man. So if I see a flash, I just kind of look like, and I just keep doing what I do. But I kind of want to look at it and be like, what's up? Like, doing up a hand sign, like, yo, we in here. It's lit. But my initial, I don't know if it's because I'm from New York or the East Coast, but when I see that, I'm kind of like, the fuck are you doing? Like, okay. And then I go back to what you that person tonight? But what can you do? Like, what are you supposed to do? Like, I've looked at the first time I started seeing like a lot of pictures of like this marquee, let's say, and the smiles I was putting on was so like, it wasn't even, that's not even me. Like I look back at some pictures, like I was trying so hard to like be good for the camera. Now I'm just hi. Like what do you want me to do? Like you can't capture the way I feel. Like you're trying so hard for people to like not ruin that picture, but it's not. It's funny like having this conversation when you're hanging with you. I feel like maybe I could be wrong. Maybe for the first time in the past couple of years, you become very comfortable with yourself. More comfortable, yeah. Yeah, it sounds like you're very comfortable with yourself. And to the point where you're not trying to make anyone else happy except you and your family or whatever. I mean, I've checked my ego a lot because you acquire ego over time. See, I've never seen an ego from you before. No, I meant like me to myself, like, and that comes to everything. Like, where should I be? Where should I be in my career? So what was the worst part of your ego? Like how did it affect you the most in a negative way? I think thinking that I should be at some point famous was the worst part, that I was selling myself. Like, I need to work on music so I could be busy, and then when I'm famous, it's the top of the mountain. But
like, you need a hit record.
yeah, I need a hit record, and I need to chase what's on the radio and play music that that's one song, everyone's gonna get it. And then, I don't know, like, I've been working on myself where I'm like, I don't really care if everybody gets it. But if 10 people get it, man, and they really like understand, like, man, that was good. That means a lot to me, man, because then they really get to see behind the curtain of Jason. And that's what I want to work on. I want to work on the music that I want to find. I don't want to like make everyone love me, because they're not. Never. And if they do, it's short-lived, because they can't wait for you to fall after that, because you can't sustain that. But just, it's not about me, man. Like, when you're DJing, the bigger the stage, the more I thought it was about, like, they're here somehow to see me, or it's not. It's not about what they could give me, it's what I could give them. I know it sounds cliche, but it really is. Like, it's not about them patting me on the back. It's for me to like give them as much as I can to have a great experience. So thinking that everybody's gonna love you is never gonna happen. And thinking that one day, you know, the top of the mountain is when you hit this point, it's not. It's not. Money doesn't make you happy, and you know, the pats on the back don't make you happy. It's really like, how do you feel, and then that's where it's gonna really start. Like, when people see how you feel about your music, or you're playing music that you love, no one can sell that but you.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I mean, I haven't seen you in a long time, and I actually haven't heard you play, but I've been meaning to come out to hear you play and stuff like that. But I'm curious to see, do you think your DJ style has changed?
Yes.
To what point?
I'm not shy to look at people in the face when I'm playing. Like, I'm really like looking at everywhere, like, we're all living this right now. Like, this is it. I want to turn around and look at people behind me.
How does that affect your performance? Well, you know, what's the difference when you weren't looking at people?
What enhanced it?
Well, what does that do? How does that change you?
Yeah.
How does that change the way you're DJing when you're looking at
people? I feel
people?
like there's like little moments that I can't even explain. Like, just even talking about it, I feel like, especially like in the library, like, I love looking as far as I can from the room in the back corner, and there's one guy that's like kind of digging what you're doing, but he's having a drink, and I'm like, what up? And he's just like, hi. I'm like, yeah, man, I see you. We're here. This is it. We're living it. And then it's like, the people in front of me, like, I don't want them to feel like I am the room. We are the room. I'm not the guy. I'm just trying to, you know, cook this room, but we're all cooking this room because I'm looking at your vibe and I'm cooking what I feel like this room needs right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Whether it's like, oh, you know what, I'm gonna drop a vocal. You know what, I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go there. And the minute I win that trust, then it's like, let's go everywhere now.
Do you feel that at a certain point earlier in your career, or maybe when you started doing the big rooms, you were kind of like forcing the energy upon them a little bit?
A little bit.
Yeah.
And what do they want to hear?
Yeah.
Let me guess. Let me try to see, like, what do they want to hear? Like,
almost like mathematics a little bit, right?
Yeah, those people sat down. Those people stood up.
Well, why did that happen, right?
Yeah, what happened? Like, a bunch of people left, and it's like, you can't really predict that. And I still do that math in the main room, and even at Lava Brunch. Like, you have to like see what's working, what's not working. But like, if it's not coming from the booth and it doesn't feel good, you're not going to have that room. You're not going to grab that room. Mm-hmm. Because once they trust you, then you could do whatever you want.
Do you think a lot of EDM house DJs have that frame of mind of reading a room?
No.
Do you think you got that from doing open format?
I think I got that for falling on my face a million times.
How so?
Just by bombing.
But in what genre?
Like losing the room.
For any genre?
In every room. Yeah, I've you know, in open format, it was just like, you know, especially if I don't do it for a while, I could tell like, oh, they're not really buying this because there's a bunch of new stuff that I'm not playing, or this is old, or this room is too young. Like, yeah, man, it's like, I've fallen on my face a lot and I've been looked at, or I've been, you know, suggested what I should do a lot, and that just built my confidence. It's helped me build my confidence. I still work on that, but man, it's scary sometimes, man. When you don't get the room like erupted how you think, and you're throwing every trick out in the book, or what.
Does that still happen now, though?
It still happens, man.
It does.
Yeah. It happened to me this weekend.
Really?
Yeah. And I was unhappy with myself. Like, as far as like, I didn't feel like I got to get them to, as fired up as I wanted to, but what can I do? Maybe it's just a room.
So you didn't figure it out later?
I think I did. I don't know.
Yeah.
I still think about it. I drive home and I think about it.
It's just so rough when you have a bad night.
And I don't think, yeah, a bad night is definitely bad.
It sticks with you for like, it can stick with you like in the worst case scenario, it can stick with you for like 2 months or more.
Yeah.
It can, if it really haunts you, it could stick with you for like a year or so.
Yeah.
When that happens, the best thing is just to get back on the decks. Like as soon as that happens, you just kind of forget about it by playing again.
And is it bad because you think it's bad, or because your expectations are too high?
I think it's a little bit of both. I know for me personally, I think I have high expectations and I go in with a lot of confidence, and then a lot of that is ego. Like, I know I'm gonna kill it, and then when it doesn't happen, I'm like, damn, like I let myself down, I let the crowd down, I let the venue down, the bartenders, they probably talking about me in a group chat. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm thinking about all these things.
That's a lot of things, man. That's a lot of things going on.
And so it sits with you. I'm in the bed after I showered that night, like, fuck, like I gotta redeem myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the best way I know how is to just get back up and do it again.
I mean, it could be the room too. Sometimes the room is just not in that state of mind, like party. Like, it's not. They're not gonna maybe go as hard as you think they are.
Yeah.
The best thing that ever happens is like, man, I'm not figuring out this room. I can't get this room. And then like a manager comes up to me and they're just like, it's just, yo, it's a weird night. Yeah. I'm like, it's not just me then. Yeah. They're like, yeah, it's a weird night, man.
So that happened to me this weekend. I was trying and trying and trying, and then they were like, it's just a weird day. I'm like, then I was like, did I make it weird? Was it? Did I sculpt this
not
weird?
Self-sabotaging.
But it's not like I'm trying.
But it's also like that rodeo week.
It's a different crowd of people.
Vegas.
Yeah. Oh man,
it's the rodeo time.
It's the rodeo week.
Rodeo week is slow season right before the holidays. Yeah, a lot of elements.
Everything, man. People could be full. Yeah, like just like tired. You know, holidays have been eating like shit. Exactly. Everyone's energy's lower. The weather. Yeah, but still, like you're there to serve it. You have to make this thing like the hottest in your head, at least. Like, they got to know that I fucked this room harder than anyone else. I'm like, oh fuck, I didn't really fuck this room as hard as I thought I was going to, man. Fuck.
It's so true though. It fucking haunts me, man. It haunts me more than I would. I mean, probably all of us. It haunts us more than we would like it to. And it really, it's like, it just comes up, man. I more recently this year, I've had times when I'm just like, I blank out on the next songs to play, and that's like never happened. And I don't know if it's my old age and memory or what the fuck it is, but like I just black out sometimes. I'm like, what the fuck, where do I go? And I kind of like, I'm, you know, and I get back on it, but those like 10 seconds,
the anxiety kicks in.
Those fucking 10 seconds when I'm like, wait, where do I go?
I can ruin this right now.
Well, like the worst is when the room is like going off.
Yeah.
And when the room is going off, you're just kind of like, yo, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. I'm like 8 songs in. I already know.
Yeah.
And now this year, for the first time, it's like, wait, should I go this way or that way? And I'm like kind of looking at them, and that's never really happened to me before.
Yeah.
Have you ever just like taken a complete U-turn in the peak of a moment? Like everything's working. You're like, nope, let's go make a U-turn.
Yeah. I've ate shit, and I've looked like, you know, I've looked like a hero too at the same time, but you know.
But those chances, man. Those chances are like the room needs that sometimes. Like it's going off so hard. Like, nope, let's just completely go a different direction and start from scratch.
I actually respect that when I see a DJ do that. Because I'm like, damn, it takes a lot of balls first.
But it's got to work. If it doesn't work, it's kind of like, man.
Yeah. And even when it bombs, I'm like,
if it doesn't work, I want to leave. Because I'm like, oh man, like, because I know that feeling, and I'm like, I want to go. Like, I don't want to.
Not like not like you went and like played fucking the soundtrack with Barney Miller or something.
Another old ass.
I know,
reference.
right? Jamie's like,
know
what's
what
Barney
Barney
Miller?
No, but I know it's an old reference. That's why I laughed because I'm like, I really don't know where he's going with it.
No, but just an unexpected, like good hit, just a hit, but it's a completely different energy. But it's fun. Like boom.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like to do that, especially with open format. I like to do that because I don't know what to sustain. When the things are too hype, when it's like open format is super hype, I'm like, okay, now we got to take a U-turn because I don't know what to do. And that's when I know I have to like, I got to play 21 Questions right now. This is it.
That's great.
If you're in New York or you know this era, this is the song where it's like, yes.
21 Questions always hits nice.
I haven't played that in a minute.
Especially
When
from
that
It always does.
yeah.
New York City.
You read that New York City?
That feels so good, man.
That's such a great that song just still hits.
Yeah.
It's insane.
I haven't played that in a minute. I'm gonna try that
Really?
this time. Yeah, I haven't played it.
It's so funny, like with all the new music and all of this shit. I mean, I feel like hip hop had a horrible year this year, but
Yeah.
it's just so crazy how some of these songs from the 2000s, like they're
like bigger now. I mean, they're big now.
so hard.
Bro, I
right
dropped
now.
Where the Party at the other day and shit went off. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Oh, Jagged Edge.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That the little guitar in the beginning.
Yeah.
Fucking works like magic.
It's crazy, man. You know what, man? I'm glad. What do you call it? We finally got you here.
Yeah.
We've been actually talking about getting you on
Years, bro.
I'm so glad. Listen, I couldn't make a couple, and I know Darren tried to reach out, and I said like no 3 times, and I'm so glad.
Honestly, I think you're the first house DJ we had on the podcast.
For sure.
Really?
Right?
Yeah.
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 Oh wow.
Yeah.
I feel honored,
Which is-
man. I feel honored. Thank you.
It had to be you though.
Yeah.
We all wanted.
We've talked about having a house
Had
DJ.
to be you.
But we're like,
Had to be you.
we don't know how we're gonna conduct this shit, and then
You know, it's funny. Whenever I see you, I just remember I feel like we just really went through like boot camp in the 2000s for nightclubs, and we were there. It was like I don't want to say it was a war, but it was
a battlefield, man.
It was a battlefield, right?
Battlefield.
It wasn't easy. It was like physically, mentally, spiritually draining.
Emotionally.
Yeah, man. Yo, those like, you know, in Las Vegas, in that whole club scene, the Jolo nightlife scene was like so exhausting, man.
Yeah.
And then what was that dude's name? Don
Johnson.
Johnson.
Yeah.
Don
Yeah.
motherfucking Johnson.
Not the Miami Vice Don Johnson.
No,
Love it. That was Don
it's
Johnson.
this huge. Isn't he like a poker player?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he would come in and he would always want to hear
Bon Jovi.
Bon Jovi.
Yep.
It doesn't matter. I think at one point Five was DJing and Nicki Minaj was performing.
Yeah.
And while she was performing, Don Johnson came in and they had to cut one of her songs off and play the Bon Jovi song for
That's
her
insane.
while Nicki Minaj was performing. And she was just like, the fuck is this song? Like,
I could imagine. I could imagine. That is insane.
it was like the boom, wow, wow, you know, that Bon Jovi, boom, wow,
Yeah.
wow.
Living on a prayer.
You know what happened with him and Deadmau5, right?
No.
Yeah, when
I've heard about that.
Yeah.
did he send him like $250,000?
He didn't pay him. I think something went on. I don't know if it went to like the legal system and all that. But
So the story was that Deadmau5 was DJing.
Yes.
Don motherfucking Johnson was there and supposedly said he would tip him $500,000 or $250,000
something huge.
to play Bon Jovi.
Damn.
And Deadmau5 played it, but he never got paid.
Never got paid.
Smart man.
He took him to court.
Yeah.
He
Wow.
did take him to court?
Well, I think they did take it more through like the venue. Like, okay, someone's gonna have to like, you know.
So did Deadmau5 get anything out of it?
I don't know. I'm not.
I think he got his money.
I think he got something, but I don't know if it went down as easy.
Wait, is that legal though? How can he sue him?
I don't know if they sued.
It's a verbal contract
Wow.
agreement.
We're listening to Jamie say this stuff.
Well, Jamie,
Google it. It's a verbal agreement.
criminal justice major, you know?
That's a verbal agreement. It's in it still stands if it's verbal. If they made a transaction verbally, it's a contract.
Such a crazy time, that era. I don't. Is it? I'm trying to think if the nightclubs still cater to those kind of characters anymore. They still do, right?
Oh yeah.
The Jolos.
I think so, yeah.
Dude, the Jolo period was crazy. We were living that shit together,
Yeah.
yo. You remember that shit?
Yeah.
We'd be there till like fucking 6 a.m.
Yeah.
We never got the bonuses.
Yeah, I didn't see it. I didn't see it.
We didn't get nothing. I was just literally
No
DJing.
paintings, no nothing.
I was DJing like 2 extra hours, watching the clubs make like hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I didn't even get like a fucking thank you or anything. Yo.
No Christmas card. Look at
You know what I'm
face.
saying?
Yeah, man.
And I felt good. I actually felt good for like the staff and like the waitresses and the busboys because I knew they were gonna get tipped out really well,
Even the club, like you want to see your club do well.
do well. But then it was just like there was no gesture at all to the DJs to be like, "Yo, thank you for staying 2 hours." later.
I saw one time, and they kept that open for like a bikini contest, and they were like,
for Jolo,
yeah, it was like it was stayed open
like
till-
an impromptu bikini.
like
contest.
okay, we're gonna do like a
Like
bikini,
a fashion show?
That they actually-
something like that,
Like
it was-
rake them and shit? That's fucked
What
up.
did you get the waitresses to wear bikini?
No, there was just patrons that were there and like, listen, we're gonna go upstairs. There's gonna be a contest, and
Oh, and then Jolo would be like, "I have this much money
I'm
for
gonna
the
write
winner."
a check or something like that. Like if you're gonna get paid like the grand, prize $10,000, something like that. It was crazy, man.
Shit, I'm putting on my speaker.
What a time.
It was also that was also the time. I don't know if they still do this. I'm not gonna say the nightclub, but they would do the same thing with Jolo. They would do this. They would fill a bathtub with fucking champagne.
Yeah,
But
I remember seeing that.
Cristal champagne.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to go deeper than that? There was a time where,
But they would like dunk Jolo in there, and he'd be bathing with champagne.
oh, I've never seen that.
You never seen that shit?
I've seen 100 bottles of Cristal come out, or 100 bottles of Patron Platinum come out to random people. Like
I've never seen that. Just tubs by
Oh,
the
yeah, yeah,
boatload
yeah.
just
He
coming
would-
out.
he would do that. I've seen him do it, and my family was actually in town. My wife's family was in town, and they all got a bottle of Cristal, and they're like, "What is going on?" Like, just,
They'd be like, "Yo, Jolo's in the building, and he wants to say he loves everybody." And I think
All of the lights.
it was it the all of the lights?
Yeah, you tell me it was all of
Yeah.
the lights.
I think it was him.
Yeah.
Could have been somebody else, but
there's a
everybody
couple songs, yeah.
everybody was like, everyone got a bottle of Patron and a bottle of champagne.
Yeah. And then he would carry like celebrities with him. At one point, he had the Gangnam Style guy with him.
Oh yeah.
And then he had like Swiss Beats was there. Like they were all piggybacking on that. Like,
Everyone was getting paid.
Yeah.
I remember I saw him with Paris Hilton.
Allegedly.
Yeah, Paris Hilton.
No. People
Usher.
Allegedly.
Jamie,
Crooked.
Jamie Foxx.
Crooked, allegedly.
People were allegedly getting paid
Yeah.
to hang out with that motherfucker.
Listen to me a little bit.
Yeah. That was a crazy time.
it was crazy times. I feel like I've had a lot of those though. Like that was the craziest excess time, but yeah.
What a life.
No,
Yeah.
because we like, even at Marquee, we still have our core crazy guys that come in here. They're actually friends of mine, and they just go in, man. Like this summer, I did a show where it was from noon, and then the headliner came on from 3 to 5, and then I played from 5 till 2 a.m.
Yeah.
At the day club. At the day club, they got catering from Carbone. They brought tables out. They brought food. They kept ordering bottles. It was like,
Damn. Man.
Yeah, I seen Mike Attack post some of those, like when he's like, it's just that one cabana,
yeah,
and he's just DJing for them,
yeah,
and he's it's crazy.
yeah.
That was rough though during the pandemic when like right when shit reopened during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Because it was like, it was like 30% capacity. So you only had like a few tables there and it wasn't packed. But you still had to DJ 6 hours and like keep these tables here. That was like, and it was kind of, everything looked kind of sparse a little bit.
Yeah.
But you still had to find the energy between these tables and everyone was just like completely separated and like distanced, social distance.
Yeah. It was hard to watch, but at the same time, like I was grateful. I was like, man, at least I'm working.
Right.
And it wasn't fulfilling, like as far as like, I'm making this whole, like what we look for now.
Right.
But you gotta, I was like I said, even microdosing mushrooms back then, I was reminding myself like, man, these people are sad. They're escaping like LA or Miami or the Midwest or Europe, and they're coming here to like, man, can I just get a little piece of like a nightlife or a day life, or hang out with my girl by the pool and eat, like we started serving food at Marquee. That's what we weren't. We weren't a day club. We were a restaurant with a pool.
Because that was the loophole, right?
It was marquee pool. We couldn't call it day club. So people were like literally eating wings, and you have to order a minimum of 500 for this. Okay, so we ordered wings, nachos, and then like some drinks. And it's like, okay, so it's kind of a house party, but very spread out. And I was like, fuck, man, I'm not going to get that thrill of like, this is the moment.
Yeah.
The volume had to be at a certain level because it couldn't be a nightclub. It had to be a pool restaurant. So that was hard, man. It's, again, on my ego, like, damn.
It's funny because like what's happening in Vegas now, like people are coming to Vegas outside of the country and from certain states, and they're doing like vaccination Vegas parties. So they're coming here, they're getting vaccinated because they can't get the vaccine in certain countries.
Wow.
Or certain states, you know, it's not readily available. So they're coming to Vegas. They're getting vaccinated, but like, hey, we're gonna go to Vegas to get vaccinated, but let's make it a whole party, like a whole vacation shit. So they come out and they get vaccinated. And I only started noticing this, and I was talking with motherfuckers because I got the booster shot recently, and everyone, it wasn't locals. It was like someone from Arizona, someone from Mexico, someone from like all like, you know, South America. It was just all scattered and shit.
Trying to get their dose here.
Trying to get their vaccination here.
Fuck.
And stuff. But they were making a weekend of it, like a whole vacation.
Like a divorce party.
Yeah. And there's literally awkward. Yeah, there's literally like travel, and I was talking with them, and there's travel agencies that are setting up vaccination Vegas trips. So motherfuckers can come to Vegas, while out, get vaccinated, and can go back.
Wow.
And so it was like going through that.
I mean, Vegas is always going to supplement that. Like even like I just said, like divorce parties. Like what? That's just okay.
Hey, I get that shit.
Yeah,
I understand that 100%.
Divorced?
Yeah, I get it. No, I'm not divorced, but I get it. I get that shit 100%. Hey, yo, Lema, thank you, man, for coming through.
Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate
you,
bro.
It's been a long time coming in.
No, I'm really, really grateful. It's like a good time too. It's like this is like a month to have some clarity because everything's kind of slowed down. You know, everything ramped back up.
Yeah, yeah.
It was for me. It was hard, like to get this thing back up to where, and it was even more, I think, energetic than I remember it. Like when everything came back on, like in May and June,
yeah,
it was busier than I remember it being 5 years ago. So it was a lot to hit the ground with, right? So right now, I'm slowing down and I'm kind of processing what's happened this year. So this is a good time to talk about this for me too, like to let it all out. Like what just happened? Because you know, a year ago right now, we didn't know that this year was going to be this big, I guess.
Right. Well, now it's like a weird time because, like, you know, I think a lot of our friends or a lot of people in our circles are getting COVID and stuff, and it's spreading again, like a lot more. And I'm seeing a lot of other like corporate entities pulling back a little bit. Yeah, around this time and stuff like that.
I mean,
take care of. Continue taking care of yourself, man. It's inspiring, man.
Thank you, man.
For real.
Thank you.
I'm gonna try that. No porn shit.
Fuck that. Crazy.
Commit for a week, man.
Check out that TED special.
Yeah. I wish, honestly,
send me the link for that TED special.
I wish I'll look for it.
Thank you. I said, man. Thank you, man.
I really appreciate you guys, man. Thank you, man.
If you want to watch more episodes from R.O.A.D Podcast, click either links on the left or the right. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube page and get updated on new uploads throughout the week. Peace.